and gentlemen, welcome to the Laugh Monkey Music Show. Alex Kane, welcome back. It's been a little bit. How you been? You're totally ripping, but we're not hearing it. There's no sound
You're
to
not?
it. No.
Wait, hang on. No?
It cuts it out. That's the internet for you.
There's probably some kind of limiter on there. But okay, well, anyway, I'm going to play for my own benefit.
That's okay.
Every once in a while, I'm sure a riff will sneak through.
It does a little bit. So, how you been, man?
Good, really. I'm crazy busy with both life and, the career, rock and roll. It's all part of the great tapestry of life. So, you know what I mean? I take everything as it comes, and if I'm panicking, that means everybody should panic, because I don't panic until it's going down.
I think when we first started talking, it was during the plague there with the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Right. And
making a comeback, I hear, by the way.
Is it? Well, I imagine when I think of what I imagine is like the four or five horses from Lord of the Rings, is the Wreath Riders or whatever. And they're coming in. That's how I remember it. I probably don't remember it as accurately as everybody else. You were a little cagey at the time, and as time's gone on, our interviews have gotten different because you've been on the road more, touring, which you need to do. You cannot be locked in for long, otherwise you get a little manic.
Are you saying one, or are you saying me? Because it's certainly true for me.
Well, there's probably two or three of you just stuff right there. So it works.
Maybe, yeah,
so that actually works. Yes. So thank you for leaving.
Not that it's hitting a nerve or anything, but go on.
No. Thanks for setting up for me. Home run.
Yeah, right. You're welcome.
You're anytime. And I've seen you. I don't think you've spoken since the last time I saw you play, though, because you came to New England. You played with Manitoba.
Yes, that's right.
So we had date night. No,
sorry,
you remember that, right? And
what?
So we had date night. So I actually got to see you play in person for once. It was nice.
Where was that?
It was I'm in Connecticut. So it was in Massachusetts. It was right. Is it the Race Club? Racers? It was on Racer Street. I don't remember that club once.
Was it like a restaurant, kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was an interesting place. There's like a restaurant attached to it and stuff.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I've been there twice. Sorry, that club. So anyway,
who was the other band you saw there, or was it for like the dinner?
No, get to dinner. Tragedy, I think.
I hope it was somebody like Dave Alvin or somebody. You know what I mean?
No. It was I think it was Tragedy and Metallica.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think that's where I saw it there.
No shit.
I think that's what was there. Yeah.
Like, I would expect.
What a great bill too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's ideal. Yeah. Like, I know, it's just
they're both really good at what they do, and they have fun doing it.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not easy to do.
No, the level of musicianship of both those guys on both those bands were just fantastic.
Yeah. It's hard to make something look easy.
It is, but you shredded. You were killed at that night.
I don't. I have to be honest, and this is part of my consistent stupidity. There were so many challenges in playing. I was such a Dictators fan. Like, when I was a kid, man, when Manifest Destiny came out, I was like, it got me through like freshman year. You know what I mean? Where grade school, and now there's all these bigger kids around. Everything that we went through, luckily there was Kiss and Alice Cooper and Queen and all those guys to show us the way of like, it's okay to be a freak. Look at us. Come on. We fuck people with alligators. Give me a break. Although that's not politically correct anymore to have sex with sharks and groupies. That's
I don't that thing. Yes, that thing. I think you said with sharks, because I don't think with sharks it was ever just on its own thing either.
It was the Road Crew. It was never paid.
No, I got that reference. I thought you just said sharks, and I was like, "Where you going with that, Alex? You've been on the road a long time."
That yeah. Oh yeah. No yeah. What do you mean? Like
the sharks? I'm like, alligator. I'm like, are you down south?
Well, I said alligators first, so I wouldn't date myself with the shark.
I get it.
Um,
The old Zeppelin story at the Hyatt Riot House. If people can go
can
back and
you
read Hammer of the Gods.
imagine? Like, I'm trying to picture, and I mean, okay, we'll never know if it went down or not. You know what I mean? But going on the assumption, like, and I think it kind of, I mean, I don't think it could have happened actually now. I don't think there's any way
I
that.
think it could have. I think I've heard stories off the air from other musicians since I've been doing this show for like 5 years now
Yeah.
of enough things where I'm like, it probably happened. That's the least of anything. Like
I'm just
I get
thinking
grossed out so much as it is, so I'm like, "Ugh."
but the skin is like sandpaper, though, I'm saying.
It's a dark world, man. It's a dark world.
Well, I mean, given for that, I mean, if you make allowances for the fucked up nature of humanity, I guess you're right. Um, but
And people, we're talking out there abstract right now. People need to look it up to catch what we're talking about.
we were
So we're
talking
keeping it.
about the dictators, and then we went
That's what
off
we're talking
on
about.
Heartland.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If people don't get the story, they can look that part up. We don't need to go into that part. People
No,
can
not
look it up and
necessarily.
find the
Yeah,
adventure. But actually, it's crazy. It is a crazy story, and they should look it up anyhow. So your
yeah,
dictators,
just to
though. So
know
you
what the
just
fuck
to
we've been
know
talking about.
the lore of it.
But so the point being, uh, there was a lot of challenges in doing that particular gig, regardless of my complete love of the music. You know what I mean? And I will say, most of the time when we were on stage, it was a good, powerful feeling. You know what I mean? I was able to really dig into myself physically as well in a way that I can't in most of the bands that I get to play with, because it would just totally be inappropriate. But when you got Dick Manitoba and you're doing Kick Out the Jams, it's like, this is not about making sure that we all catch that downbeat. This is about letting the fucking lions loose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that's a feeling that I very, very much enjoy. And that's a place that at first, when I was younger, that I only came from that punk kind of, and you adapt and learn and grow and everything. And then hopefully you become a more well-rounded musician and capable of not only breaking everything you see, but but anyway, so I really enjoyed that aspect of like the whole teenage rock and roll heart unleashed thing, particularly during Kick Out the Jams and
You did another song too. I say this because I got some really great video and some great photos of you that night.
Search and
Yeah.
Destroy. That was the
You
other
know
one.
that. I mean, I sent you this. I just people can go look at my page. It's some great video of you and solos and stuff.
Oh, you got all that video. That's right. You totally know. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's probably some of
And
the best
that
video
and
out
that
there if you're
was
actually playing guitar.
and that was
Just go on the
instead of
internet.
falling over or breaking stuff.
If you
And that
go and
was
look up on
and
YouTube, that's some of the best when you play. I think we see this before we talk over you and you tell your story. I had got a cease and desist on that whole show though.
oh, of course you did. Yeah, I understand. I
Now, because the
understand.
people weren't mad at me in general, but because of the politics, because I think I had one of the other guys on. They're like, they just asked if I took it down. So I was trying to find a couple songs that wasn't like, Kick
Yeah,
Out the Jam or
that's all
something.
you were able to have access to.
I mean, I saw the video though. I saw the whole video. So we got to figure out how I can send it to you because it's so good.
Oh, I would love that. And it was an instance where that, and I don't think it was not due in part just to you being there with a camera and knowing that that show would be chronicled. So somehow that gave me that extra little. You know, my favorite part of the video is we finish Kick Out the Jams, right? It's
Mhm.
fucking the guitar, everybody's going crazy, and and I'm doing whatever, and all the stuff is happening, and it's noise, and it's white noise after this really intense performance of two classic thunderous rock and roll power songs. And then we're done, and he hits the last cymbal, and you hear like 15 really excited applause. Yeah,
It was a weird
yeah.
audience. It was a weird audience, but that was one of those nights that we were like, you know what? You guys played like you're playing an arena.
I don't ever fucking play for anybody that showed up. I mean, I only play for the people that showed up, but
I
that's
know.
not who I'm playing for. I'm playing for my own sense of self-esteem and relevance. You know what I mean? So,
But I'm
um,
saying you guys did not go like, oh, half show. We're gonna dial them in,
no,
take money. It was a show because I was in the front. I didn't realize how few people were there. afterwards, it was really, that was sad, but it's also one thing about going, man, it's one of those things where you go, the band played like there was a million people in the house that night, and I have it
Yeah,
documented, and for legal
yeah,
reasons, not because I did a thing. Most bands, here's the link. I have to roll back a little bit here. Now I shoot video at these shows. Some people like it, some don't like it. I have a few basic rules. A, I don't block people. I usually do it, whatever.
mhm.
Everyone's going to do it, but I'll do a full thing, and I do it so it doesn't look like I've been shot in some Taliban cave. I edit it. I adjust the audio. It's already going to go out there, so you might as well have the less of the evils. And I'll do the thing. I'll do it right. I credit the bands. I usually interview the bands. The bands usually know I'm doing it. I actually have
Yeah.
permission from the bands. So usually when I do it, I'm not that guy that's just like in front of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, no,
But to that point, I get right in there with you. Like with you, I got some fantastic footage of you like a foot away. You
yeah,
know,
I know, I know.
and it sounded really good too. It's also one of the better sounding ones I got too. Shows.
It was, yeah, that was that show. It had, oh, and then there was the memory lapse thing in the beginning. Yeah, I remember that now. We were doing, I think it was Kick Out the Jams,
Mhm.
and I think like Richard missed his cue to come in or whatever, and then Michael kind of picked it up a little bit later. And when I kind of saw all that was going down, I was like, I'll just fucking solo more. I'm on tonight. Fuck it.
Yeah, so the band itself, though, actually, the second minute I talk about that band, it's a good band. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know.
great
Yeah,
dudes too. Every single guy, great guy. Michael Butler, one of the sweetest, nicest guys I have ever met in my entire life. He is so considerate. I happen to be vegan. He happens to be very not vegan. But when I was staying at his house when we first got the band together,
Mhm.
he consistently made me vegan food. And I was like, wow, dude, this is literally one of the kindest, most welcoming gestures as far, you know what I mean? Because like everybody always
Yeah.
freaks out on that I don't eat meat. So it's like, you know, well, is this, do you mind if there's pork
To
here?
this day,
Well, I
it's
mean,
really
on a level, I mind that there's pork here, but my mom eats stuff. So I don't have shit to say, you know?
my child's been vegan, or vegetarian and vegan since like elementary school. And he's like 23 now. It's always been a part of my
What?
house. So we've always had he's a very independent child. So we've always had our own split diets in this house anyhow. So like my wife is away and he's been cooking for me. And I'm like, it's good. I just eat vegetarian. I don't care. I do like
Yeah,
meat though, once in a while. I like to taste. I do. I just can't replace it. It's a problem. It's not a moral issue. I would be fine if I didn't have to. You just can't replace that taste and texture to me yet. I'm waiting. But the point is the band though, fantastic.
yeah.
The guitar player also it was
Greg, great
he was
guy.
and he was in
He was in the Ruffians, is in the Ruffians.
another band too. Um, Stupid Thief.
Who?
Stupid
Oh,
Thief.
I did not even know that.
Yeah. And I like Stupid Thief. Remember Stupid Thief? They had the single Broken Hearts. I think Guitar Kurt from Metallica was in one of their videos. They kind of a punk sounding band. They had one album out on Relativity Records in the 90s. I love that band.
I did
Uh
not know that. We never talked about that.
yeah, well, they're keeping things from you. But
Yeah.
it's a short-lived band. I mean, they only had like two albums out and stuff. But they're a good band, you know. But so I mean, I think the caliber of like journeyman musicians, you know, everyone knows you know, Life's Just Death, you know, and stuff like the journeyman, all the musicians of all the bands you guys have been in collectively,
Yeah,
pretty
we added it
badass.
up. We have 7,000 years in the music business together.
And that was just you.
Yeah, that was just,
Did you add anybody else into that?
no, that was just my count. I didn't
That's your
care
road
about
hours,
them.
right? Right.
What? Yeah, right, right. Well, you know, it's funny. A friend of mine up in Canada, Brian Kirk, uh, uh, you know, I'm stuck in the picture of me, so I can never see it from outside of the confines of the frame.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So, but like Brian's a really, really great friend, and for some reason, he really values my existence. You know what I mean? Um, and if I find something that I think he would be interested in, as like, because he's kind of going to be like, when I go, he'll have all my interesting shit, right? So it won't be forgotten in a corner somewhere. But
Yeah.
so today, and weird, partially because what I'm about to describe happened on my birthday, and my birthday is like literally 10 days away now, right? So when I was maybe 15 or 16, I was going out with a 19-year-old,
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Illegal. Nice.
Yeah. Well,
There's
no,
terms for that nowadays.
she was 18. Well, no, it still was illegal. This was actually an illegal relationship because I was 15, I guess, when it began.
That
That's
was
so
you better at Epstein Island, I think you're telling me.
yeah,
Continue with your story.
it's just
Yeah.
well, I mean, she wasn't wealthy, so no, it wouldn't have been
Okay.
her.
It's
And it
okay.
was
It's
some
okay if
other
they're
dude.
broke. It's okay. Because when they're wealthy, that's when there's a moral issue.
But so, and we were both, we both, what had first brought us into each other's orbits was that we were both really into Cheap Trick, like obsessed with Cheap Trick. So as a result of that, which I actually just remembered that it's because of Cheap Trick that I had sex actually the first time. Dream Police, that's a great album. But anyway, so for my birthday, and I don't know what this has to do with what we were saying, but it doesn't invalidate the story. But for my birthday, she had gotten me my first custom guitar pick, right? And this would have been in the late 70s, so there was no like graphics or
Right.
that kind of, or the autograph, and it's not going to with the way.
Is that your life sex death one, right?
This is a Life, Sex, Death one, yeah.
I got that. I got that one.
I got one from I think all my bands, but anyway, so she got me my first custom pick, and this would have been that long ago, and I found one today out of the blue. Yeah, I was going through my ammo safe, and just anyway. And then all of a sudden I found it. I'm like, oh my God, it's got my real name on there now, my stage name. You know what I mean? It's before I'd ever played my first gig ever in my life. And I used to wear it as an earring, and you can still see where the safety pin went through it to use it, punk rock, right? So I don't know how that correlates to what we were talking about. But it's also extremely weird to me. Okay, I found it. Okay, wait a minute. It's like coming up on my birthday again. How could this be like a 70-year anniversary or whatever it is of me getting that originally?
I thought you were tied in with the fact that you also got a first time custom guitar pick from me. That was not going to be a tie-in.
That's what would have triggered
I
the
literally
memory.
just thought that just now. It's
Yeah.
out of my head too to try to make that up. Yeah.
I apparently you are living in my brain, or I am living in
Isn't that
yours.
funny?
But no matter what,
Did you actually get him? Did you get him?
Yeah, I got him. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You know what? I think actually,
They came out pretty good, didn't they?
yes, but I didn't see him that long ago, and I want to be amazing and try to remember right now, which will probably
It's
be
all right.
impossible.
It's not going to hurt my feelings. You took guitar picks.
Yeah, okay.
I'm
Fair
just
enough.
supposed to
But
be
yes, no, I
but they
did.
came
I
out
just
pretty
saw
good
them a
though.
couple of days. Yeah. Why do you act surprised?
I don't know. Quality control certain places. You never know what you're going to get until you get it. I like this company. I did. So, I
Do
never
you
ordered
use
custom before.
in-tune guitar picks?
That's what I did. That's what I did.
Is that what? Oh, there you go. You can't go
And that
wrong.
was it. I was very hesitant because there's a lot I'm looking for a long time. I'm going to tell you, man. I did it. I got a musician's deal because of my show.
Oh, there you
And
go. And that's what. And you know what? And they're smart. You know what? Can you talk to yourself for about 35 seconds while I get some liquid?
been doing it for like 54 years now.
Okay. All right. You have
So
no
it's okay.
friends? Or we could have like a yelling conversation.
I don't have to yell. I have headphones on. You have headphones on. You should just pick it up. You know that God there is incredible.
Don't go into the light. Don't go into the light. Was that dramatic?
It was pretty dramatic.
I'm getting more coffee because I don't have enough diarrhea.
I apologize, people that are eating. I actually was smart to get my coffee before the show started. But there's gotta be a grown up. There's gotta be a grown up in every group.
Wait,
I voted. I was voted to be the grown up today.
You're the designated donut.
I am. The only thing I've heard of some people, a lot of people like to pick, but the few people who said it have said like, it's it's hard. I like the smaller, but I'm not I never played live though. You know what I mean? So to me, it's a smaller pick for finesse because I'm just sitting and playing. So if I was a live player, I wonder if I would want larger picks because I'd be sloppier and sweatier. You know what I'm saying? And the size of my fingers.
Well, okay. So there's a couple of things, and again, I know I have it here somewhere. I don't know where, but I got a Phil X pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what he does is, and I don't know if he does it with all his picks or whatever, but this one definitely had it. And I'm pointing there; it must be in there. But he'll kind of dig this part out here.
Yep. Put your finger in it.
So it's so your finger is making contact with your finger and kind of clasping the
Yeah.
pick.
Okay.
And so I mean, so you'd really have to. But to be honest, like I sweat like a fucking pig. Okay. When I'm in a physical gig, you know what I mean, as opposed to like.
A podcast right now, just all over the
Or
place.
yeah, I mean, well, like as far as playing goes, like I sweat
Right.
like a pig, right? But if it's a physical show rather than more of a cerebral, where like play the right
Mhm.
chords in the right order is the rule of the day. But uh, I've not encountered that, but I will also put like something around my wrist as like a little dam. Anyway,
For the sweat. It's funny because I mean,
yeah,
you could literally go down the rabbit hole and you think, well, that's just guitar pick. You look at it 2 minutes. When you actually go, you go to pick a guitar pick out and you go online to get it, and you can put your work into it, your show logo or whatever you want into it, your designs. Then
right.
you go down the rabbit hole of all different designs and the shapes and stuff out there. And not everyone got the picks. I have a couple people like, if a fan sees me at a show, at the show, I have some on me, I'll give them out or whatever like that. But I'm not just sending them out. I'm not selling them. And I've given them to a few musician friends. You have some, and there's a handful. Um, Dweezil Zava has some, and when Dweezil,
Most guys I know do, and the real smart
but no, but I'm
ones.
saying, when Dweezil has mine, he's playing it. He says, it's like, oh, it's too small. Like it's small. Because when he plays, because he was playing with it, and I saw him. He was here that long ago. He was up there. Saw him in soundcheck. He was playing, but it's just a lot more smaller for him. So everyone's just got different preferences.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't like a bunch of guys I know play with those big old triangle ones.
Yeah,
I don't even know why the fuck or what the fuck. To me, that would be the most annoying
it would just
shape.
be easy for my wife to find around the house. It's usually hard because I'm losing them, but it'd be easier if they're bigger for her to see them. But that would be it.
Right. Well, you have to make them glow in the dark or UV
No,
or some
just
kind
gonna
of.
lose them. All dark and small and hard to find. That's the way to go.
Okay, just
That's the way to go. So,
I'm
but
sure there's
anywho,
about 15 punchlines that can branch off.
there are, and people can film out. It's like a choose your own adventure type of thing, or Mad Libs. Um, I should tell people get a pad and pencil out to keep along and follow along with our show and our pure references. Are
Yes,
you?
please.
But right now you're literally playing in I think three different bands right now. You're kind of touring in.
I don't even know anymore. I
Well, like
really have.
seriously, you're touring like consistently. There's like 3 projects
All
you're
right,
doing right now.
hang on, hang on. Okay, so wait, hang on. Okay, I'll take stock here. Uh, um, uh-huh, uh, huh, they like the 5 to 7, depending on everything. You see, because
Oh, you're
like
gonna count Donnie, right? Donnie's
yeah,
the thing.
exactly. Yeah,
All right, I
and
wasn't
there's
thinking
other
about that
things
one.
I'm counting that I can't talk about. So you know what I mean. Um, but contemporarily, like it's like when we were coming up, it was like, all right, so then you go, you be Jimmy Page, and then you make Led Zeppelin music until you can't stand each other, and then you do a reunion
Mhm.
like 15 years later, and and then you've got the castle and the everything else you need, right? Um, and that was what would happen, and then obviously life, I end up being a working musician rather than Jimmy Page. um, and there was a point to that too. Oh, so if you're in one band, like back in the day, like with Life, Sex, and Death, I was in one band, and with Enuff Z'Nuff, one band. Um, and that was the way it was then. And I get it, you know what I mean? But the today's player, the the upcoming, unbelievably talented, amazing guys and girls, um, they play in 40 bands. They're promoters. They've got podcasts. You know what I mean? Um, and they are eager to um, uh, adapt the whole sphere because they understand how all of that works. I'm not going to say I'm complacent under any circumstances, but like I am not out there for like mainstream acceptance. I would not turn it down, but at this point, like I'm not going to drive myself crazy if I don't get it. You know what I mean? So those guys have a different kind of hunger than somebody like I would. And they are amazing, and I just can't say enough great things about like the next batch of musician that's coming up. The rock and roll is in such good hands, and I'm talking about the Sam Bams, and I'm talking about the Griffin Tuckers and the Derek Days and the Gabe, and these are just they're great people and they're great players and they're doing their best, and I got nothing but respect for them. You keep looking at the clock, so I figure we're about to get disconnected, so I wanted to get my buddies.
Who is? I'm not. Who's at the clock? Me?
Yeah, what is
No,
there
no,
something looming over you?
no. It's like a
Because
reflection
I
of
see
my.
you going like this, and I thought it was going
No,
to
I'm
be
trying
like
to look at the camera. No, I have no time now. It's on my side. I have all night free.
you. Well, what's up here then? What are you looking at over? Wait, hang on. I
My
can't get.
camera, my camera is up here.
Yeah, but no, over like if you took this finger,
Here,
went there, yeah, there,
outside.
yeah.
It's lights flashing by. Cars are going by. Probably just distracting me.
Oh, you shiny things.
Shiny things, keys. I'm like
Look
an
how
octopus.
ethereal this looks. This looks like right. Doesn't this look like? Uh, yes, I'm contacting
It
you
literally looks like a video from the '70s.
from another planet.
It totally does.
Is
You
my
know.
camera that dirty? Is that what it is?
I don't know. So much for some of your road stories, but you're not even. Don't even. You're gonna use the shirt and do it. We're all gonna. Oh, it's a video too.
Wow,
Oh
look at
wow! Oh my
that.
God, that is incredible.
Holy shit.
What's better than made to
It
stay
was
off?
much cooler before.
It really
This
had a gravelly effect.
wow,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
maybe if you
Just so
smudge it
don't
up a little
clean
bit.
I don't even want to know what's on my fucking screen now, frankly.
Oh my God. I always think we hit the lowest low, and you always surprise me. You always raise the bar to be the lowest,
Going
if that's
strong for
possible.
60 years,
That's
man.
right. That's right. I'm actually going to see Sam Pussycat's coming around Massachusetts in a couple weeks.
I'm gonna see him tonight, actually.
Oh, I will
Yeah,
be
they're
seeing
playing
him.
in Phoenix. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They've
I'm
been
super.
crushing it. I've never seen Fast Pussycat yet, so that'll be good to see them in a couple weeks too. So it's nice to finally see them.
Honest to God, they just keep getting better, and LA Guns just keeps getting better. It's bizarre as fuck. It makes no sense. But they're hardworking professional men who've been doing it for a while and aren't afraid of getting their hands dirty, and they fucking go out there and they give it their best every single goddamn night, and they never there's no suck in them.
I think a couple things. I mean, you can talk about. One is like I'm 54, 55, so we're sort of close in age here. I think you're like what are you like 80 years older than me or something? You can be like 150 or
I'm
something, probably.
170. I look good for
170. Yeah,
170,
you look
right?
great for 170, actually. No, you're probably you got that. We're pretty close in age. Seriously. So we grew up in that time period where you think the Led
I'm gonna
Zeppelins and the
start saying it.
Cages.
How old are you, dude? I'm 120 years old, man.
That's I'm exaggerating. You look fine. I don't
Weekend.
even know your exact age. We just whatever. But the far nation
I'm
is ridiculous.
eternal.
You look fine. I'm gonna bust
Thank
your
you.
stones.
Are you flirting with me now? This is still
Dude,
fucking going on your thing.
it's what?
If you
What's going
cut
on?
the you flirting with me part that you just did right now out of
What? Did
this
something did
conversation.
something pop up? Did something pop up? I
What?
was
What?
did this one pop up?
What?
Flirting? What was flirting?
You were no, yeah, yeah. I have a flirting detector on my end.
Are you serious? I gotta look this like AI. I was doing some interview and fireworks came up.
Okay.
Like I was doing like it was like a doom thing. It's hilarious. And there's all these fireworks come up. I'm talking. I'm like, there's got to be something turned on. Is it AI? Is there something AI companion? Let's see here. There's got to be stop AI
Mm,
companion. There we
is it
go.
on? Oh God, no. Fuck
There we
AI.
go. There we
It's
go. That was it. I
wait,
think it
no,
was
I got
on.
to wait. Oh, wait a minute. Is this forcing us to allow it to be here?
Play change for hands. Recognize. It was yeah. It was playing it. It wasn't me. I mean, it was already AI companions. Nope. I had a can. I could just turn it off on mine. That's what I was. I'll have to edit
How
that.
do I turn it
Weird.
off?
Down to the thing. There's a little star that says AI companion on the
Yeah,
bottom
well,
for
no,
me. Click
I
on it.
got
Click on that. Hit it. Hit it.
I got no. Mine says got it or leave meeting.
No, just leave it then. Leave it alone because you'll have the. I already turned it off for me.
Oh, wait
It
a
might
minute.
be
Here,
off for
I'll
you.
just turn it out of here. Oh, and this way, actually, I'm not hopefully engaging it by not answering its stupid fucking question. God, fuck yeah.
Dude, you just asked me to marry you. Would you press? No. Actually, I
Stop
leave it
sending me
because
dick pics.
we are literally just two old idiots. This is like I'm gonna this is the real world. Which that's ridiculous. Uh, but seriously, the point is like we were all sold as Bill goes like the Brady Bunch is a perfect family, and when you become a band, it's a band forever. The truth
Yeah,
is, there's probably like one family was actually without a problem, and all the weird ones were actually the normal numbers of
hmm
the families, and all the
yeah,
rock bands that we thought was this guy be this one way. It was just a sale of goods that we all got across the world and everything that we thought it was going to be. And then we saw all
yeah,
your failures by bands and families and this and that and careers because it wasn't what the TV show sold us back then or
yeah.
whatever.
Well, I mean, I will say this. Um, have there been some missed opportunities? Maybe, I mean, there's a couple of things I would have said yes to that I thought I was too cool for school. Um, had I said yes rather than like, oh, well, I'm kind of, but the whole thing, as long as it's interesting, it's good. As long as it doesn't hurt too much.
That doesn't mean they would have been successful if you did it. Say you joined whatever band it was, Say you took the gig for Bon Jovi. That's what we're talking about, right?
That would mean I'd have to beat Phil X, and I don't see that happening.
The point is,
Maybe in rock moves I win, and I got a couple of weird things that freak him out. But on the whole, that dude is literally my favorite guitar player.
he's ridiculous. But I think my point is, I had a discussion around that, but they'll be like, I wish I could have been bigger, I had more money, but you wouldn't have been where you are. You wouldn't have been the musician you are. The band could have been together for 3 more days once you joined it. It could have broken up like, and the dynamic of it, one extra person could have changed it, or something could happen. You could have been
Mhm.
a drug overdose and dead. So to be like, I missed this opportunity. It just didn't happen, and it's a good story. But that doesn't mean anything would have happened from it. You
Yeah,
know,
no, exactly. I mean,
I
I've got
mean,
so much cred by now; it's ridiculous. but uh,
but,
but you
but
do have to do. This was the point, though. You do have to stay afloat because you got bills 12 months out
right.
of the year. You got to take gigs that. So, like, if each of those bands goes out twice a year, which luckily so far, knock on wood, has been consistent since the pandemic.
Mhm.
I can get by as long as I don't live like I got it. Oh, I got a castle now. Um, um, so that's the reason for the volume of
But that's everybody. That's what people need to
yeah,
know.
no,
It's
I think
called being a
that's
working musician.
exactly
It's
true.
it's
That's
it's
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
which is still a hard gig, but it's still doing a career move that you want to do, and that's what
Well,
it is. If you're really a musician,
part of the reason that those of us that are doing all of those jobs, and be they like a guy who's been doing it for a while like me, or like the new guys that are like Sam Bam, who's got all the jobs, right?
Mhm.
um Whether or not that would have been kosher in the 70s remains to be seen, or will never be seen, actually. But it's kosher as a motherfucker right now. And not only that, but then he's not only bringing all of those disparate elements into him, and he's easily one of the most exciting players out there right now.
Mhm.
Right? So he's bringing all of that world of Godsmack doesn't have the same audience as Dorothy, and
Mhm.
Faster is kind of like he's everybody's kid brother, you know what I mean, like the
He
fans,
is.
other band guys, and we all just love him like our kid brother, and we'll fucking fuck anybody up that doesn't treat him right. But and so he's got us anyway, and then he's got this audience and that audience, and he's also bringing to these other artists, you know what I mean, his rock and roll street cred from being in Faster and Butterside. Makes Dorothy look cool, like the first time a rock band hired a guy with a mohawk, or had a guy
Right.
with a mohawk, you know what I mean. Sam's bringing the youthful energy, and he's the and incredible work ethic and professionalism. Throws down like a motherfucker on stage. One of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Where no matter how big that guy gets, every single person who knows him is going to go, "That's fucking good. One of the good guys got it," and that's how everybody feels now, anyway. But so
Oh
Sam,
yeah.
and then Godsmack suddenly has like younger people that wouldn't listen to Godsmack. Oh, Sam's playing with them. Let's go check him out, and they're good. So you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Um,
It makes sense to have him. I mean, he's an animal. I've had him a few times, and I've got his shirt, his dinosaur shirt. One of the I love it. He being faster is such a good thing because faster is such a I love the band. I love what Tammy's always been doing. Every album's always 100% different. You know, I can't say enough good about that. So him being in that situation, like all the different bands he's in are so different.
mhm.
What a great rock and roll college to begin. to
Oh
work with
my
all this stuff.
God,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? I
I
mean, he's
don't even
good
think
when
he's
he finally does his own thing and he heads up his own project at some point with all the knowledge he's had.
oh my forget well even now it's funny because like we're all on a thread, right? And uh and some of the stuff that he's saying, I'm like, Sam's definitely in the big show, man. He's
Yeah.
talking about shit and concepts and where
Mhm.
it's like there'd been a few times in my career where I was playing stadiums with bands like Sass Jordan. I did
Yeah.
stadiums and stuff like that. So I understood the shift in my own expectations for myself, let alone those around me. And I've seen as Sam matures, I mean, not as a person, but as a professional,
Right. No.
um, uh, that you just sense the evolution and the growth weekly, you know what I mean, where it's like, holy fuck, this guy knows shit that I don't even know exists right now. But so yeah, he's emblematic of an entire generation of really exciting young players that do it for all the right reasons and have a great time doing it. And I get to play with a bunch of them, and most recently it's been Derek Day and Griffin Tucker. Griffin Tucker, do you know who Griffin Tucker is?
I don't. What band is he playing with?
Not
I may
yet,
know.
you do. Don't. Oh my God. What about Derek Day? Do you know Derek Day?
Both of them sound familiar. Like who are they playing with? I might
Oh
be.
my God, they fucking everybody. They play with everybody. And every time you turn around, I don't even think they're. I think Griffin's like 24. He plays every instrument better than everybody in every room. So he toured with me and Donnie, right?
Mhm.
And it was the most. I was like, oh fuck, we don't have a drummer for that. Okay, I play drums. Oh, any good? Well, yeah, I don't know. Check it out. You tell. Fuck, you're better than Bonham. Okay, you play drums. And then, shit, Mikey, Mike Upkeep from Wednesday 13 came up and played a couple of songs
Yeah.
with us. And I'm like, dude, Mike's gonna come up and play. Are you cool? And he goes, yeah, okay, I'll just do the guitar harmony with you. I'm like, oh, that's right, you're a guitar player. Okay, cool, yeah, that's right. And he looks cool doing all of it. And then when we did we played at the NAM show, and it was a stadium. It was like there was maybe like 4,000 people there, but there was like a 10,000 seat arena, right? No rehearsal. We get up there and we do a live version of "I Am the Walrus,"
Right.
right? With it was a 50-piece choir and a 30-piece orchestra, no rehearsal. There were samples that were going in. It was literally the stupidest idea I could have ever come up with. And not only that, but we also super glued the end of A Day in the Life with boom 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 with the live orchestra and everything. So we super glued that whole bit into the infinity chord there. Um uh uh I don't even remember my fucking just live, no rehearsal. Here we go. Let's do this.
He
Like
nailed it. Is Griffin Day? I was just trying to Google it. What's his name?
Griffin Tucker.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
Tucker. Yeah, okay.
he's in Classless Act. He's the guitar player. Derek Day is the lead singer, frontman in Classless Act, but he's every bit as great a guitar player as Griffin is, who's every bit as great as any great guitar player. These guys are fucking
Oh,
insane.
I've seen him. I've seen him.
I know you've seen him. I know. And then look up
Okay.
Derek Day. Yeah, everybody, whoever sees this, look these fucking people up. Within 2 years, fucking Griffin's going to be the new Jeff Lynne, and Derek will be fucking uh, a rockier version of Bruno Mars, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also old and get confused easy and lost in the woods like in Golden Pond. So you got to cut me some slack. Putting all these names
I'm
together.
older than you, bitch. But the point being, I get to jam with these guys, and you know
They're
what?
anomalies, though. I think you're very giving. I think I deal with a lot of other the other end of the spectrum here.
Oh no, dude, I give no fucks, nor do I give
No, I'm
compliments.
saying
Send
no, I'm
me.
saying that you're working with the anomalies of the just like everything else. It seems like there's a lot of something. The bulk of people coming out are thinking they're gonna put a picture on Instagram and they're gonna play a couple songs on YouTube, which is a good start. but no one's clubbing it. No one's spreading it. The Sams and the Griffins and all this, and putting in the clubs and the timing and 15 bands and stuff. That's not as a known thing as much as it should be. That's what what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, I think for
Maybe in
example,
LA and Nashville and stuff, but not all around. There's not a lot of people huffing it like that.
no, the rest of the world has to get to know who they are first, but the rest of the world will, and they
No,
will.
I mean just in
These
general, like
guys,
that work ethic is what I'm saying for bands. I don't think that's special.
the young people, the people that I'm talking about, their work ethic is unbelievable. And when I give somebody a compliment, I will give platitudes like it's fucking, the wind. But a genuine compliment, I will only give, particularly to another musician, if I'm like, "Holy fuck, dude, you're amazing," right? And there are there's a couple of handfuls of artists in general, and young artists that blow my fucking mind. And because I get to work with a lot of these people, and whether they're my age and just super inspired, or
Mm.
younger people that are fiery and super inspired or whatever, um, I always come away from the experience, particularly when I'm working with the Sam Bams and when I'm working with the Derek Days and with Gabe Moscata and Griffin Tucker and everyone else that I'm forgetting. Ronnie Castro's another one. Yanni from the Darbies, those guys, they can be amazing. They can be amazing. I would know, but I won't give a compliment if I don't mean it. And these are exceptional musicians that we are lucky to walk the same timeline with them. That's how much I think they can deliver, dude. They when they're not like doing sessions with who's the guitar player in Living Color?
Vernon Reid.
When Derek isn't doing sessions with Vernon Reid as the guitar player, he's busking with Griffin on Santa Monica Promenade, doing like two-piece acoustic versions of Bohemian Rhapsody and pulling it off, right? And the other thing I love about so many of these young musicians, we have the exact same fucking record collection. Like if they were born when I was born and listened to the same music that I grew up with, we would have been like hanging around after high school, you know what I mean? Seeing if anybody left a burning cigarette in the ashtray that we could take a puff off, because you didn't have to worry about dying, you know what I mean? I mean, not just you know what I mean. But I'm just so inspired by these guys, and I walk out of the room and my teenage rock and roll heart is all full and pumping, and I remember, and it feels like I'm in the garage with that first gang of guys where we had no fucking idea what we were doing, but now we know what we're doing, but we're still as enthusiastic, you know what I mean? And it's always been just like this free flowing well of ideas that everybody would kick into. We're actually starting to talk about doing a charity album for animal shelters.
That'd be cool. Who's
Yeah,
that? So who's we just all a collective of all the different people?
yes, that's yeah. I was because and Griffin and Derek and like everybody knows everybody. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah,
really
I
only
do.
like
Yeah,
42. There's 42 people left in the music business, and I can't take credit for that. That's Rich from Michael Monroe's band. I stole that about 2 decades ago.
and I've had 40 of them on my show.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
just full.
exactly. Yeah, all you got to do is get Rich, who thought of it, and
Yep.
whoever else. Dude, have you had like Steve Conte or any of those guys on?
Steve who? Conte?
Steve-
Yeah, like twice. Like twice.
Oh, good, good. I got
I've
to
had
play
Michael
with.
Monroe on. I've had Michael on. I've had Sammy on. I've had Andy. I've had a good hunk of Vanilla Rocks on.
Oh, that's fantastic. They on April 6th in Chicago, Donnie and I opened for them, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, and at the Arcada, beautiful theater, St. Charles. It's
That's
just,
really cool.
have you seen it?
No, I know. I've heard a lot of good things about it.
It's like a movie palace from back in the day, and actually people treat it with respect, you know what I mean? They don't go in there and vomit all over everything. But anyway, so Michael was playing and we were opening, and I've been friends with Steve and fucking, you know what I mean? I opened for Hanoi Rocks with Antiproduct, so we go
Mhm.
back over 2 decades. And Dragan and I have been friends just as long through Ginger, and anyway, and it turned out that Michael Monroe's, I think entire crew had been people that had worked with me in Antiproduct in England, in 2000, between 2000 and 2005, and later. So their brilliant sound man, Gary Lee, he was Antiproduct sound guy and preternaturally talented. He didn't have, I believe, he didn't have that much experience, but he just knew what the fuck was going on. And it got to the point where now he's the biggest sound guy in England, right? So, but we didn't have a penny, and we were just gifted these unbelievably talented people. Their main tech guy, TM, whatever, who keeps it all together. Well, no, he'd probably be the main like crew guy. Toshi was Antiproduct's first bass player
Oh, wow.
in 2000. Yeah, exactly. And he's doing a brilliant job, and he keeps that ship together, and he's so on it on stage, and he's still one of the coolest bass players you will ever fucking see. Toshi is unbelievable. Like I don't even know, like, you know, like if Pete Townsend was a Japanese bass player, and super precise still. It's uncanny. It's ridiculous. He's so good. I really love a lot of the people that I got to play with. And then Gab, who manages them now, used to be Antiproduct's booking agent back in the UK. I'm like, oh
Oh,
my
wow.
God, this is like a reunion, you know?
But it is a small thing, and I'm surprised you're surprised. I thought you were following up my show. All the guests I've had,
What?
I'm surprised you didn't know I had them on. I thought you followed my show religiously. Is that what you said? I'm busting your stones about not knowing who I had on my show.
Yeah, I'm ignoring that.
I know that. I'm kidding with you. I literally
Uh,
forget who's been on my show. I'll be honest with you.
oh, how
Just to
could you
put to that.
not? How could you wouldn't? You know what I mean? I couldn't name all my girlfriends, you know what I mean? Ever. Not, you know,
I can name
now
all
I
your
could.
girlfriends. Now I can name all your girlfriends.
Yeah, I could name
Okay.
Kristen right now. You notice
Yeah,
I said that twice just because the
that's good.
joke that preceded it would be inappropriate. So I let
I
that
know
one.
that. I know
I'm focusing
that.
on Kristen. um, but not only that, because like they're one of the greatest rock and roll bands going right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
And so when we went on, and you know, I'd gotten my yoga in, so I was feeling pretty good. You know what I mean? I was limber, and I hadn't eaten too close to the show, so I'm like, yeah, all right. So these guys, okay, watch this, motherfuckers, right? And you know, in that positive, like jostling kind
Yeah.
of way, right? And so lo and behold, we're playing, and I literally notice his whole fucking band, including him, not 10 feet away from me on my side of the stage, right? I'm like, oh well, I got it. Like you with the camera. I'm like, all right, fifth gear, here goes. You know. Um, and it was a really successful show. I felt in the zone. The stars were with me. You know, my gear was
Hmm.
functioning. The whole, you know, things were going pretty well. And this and generally speaking, when I acknowledge how great I'm doing, something bad happens, right? Like as soon as I try to take credit for it, you know what I mean? It's taken away, and that's what the muse will do. You are reminded, hey, you're lucky I'm picking you, and you're lucky that you're in the zone right now because I've connected with you. You know what I mean? Which I completely believe. Right? That's why sometimes I suck, and sometimes I'm pretty okay. You know. So anyway, tonight that was one of the pretty okay nights, and I'm playing, and I'm like, all right, you know, we're doing this one, and then we'll fly high, and then it's revolution, and then we're out of here. We got this, right? Because Donnie, I love Donnie. He's my
Yeah.
brother. I love Donnie. He's a genius, okay? But part of the thing is there's so much going on there that you know he can have. There's brain stuff too, you know.
Sometimes Donnie's not there. It's not a true thing. I mean, I've had Donnie on. I've talked to him. I mean, I love Donnie too. You
And
know.
it's not a matter with that guy. It's not, you know, and I love him, and we're both open books, so hopefully he won't mind me talking about him as though he would never hear this. But he's a very, very complex, complicated guy, and in
Mhm.
spite of all the brilliance and the genius that we as the listener can feel for the guy, that doesn't mean that he feels that. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
Brian Wilson knew he was the dude that inspired the Beatles to make Sergeant Pepper, but did that mean that Brian Wilson suddenly loved himself? You know,
Most musicians don't. So
well, we're overcome. It's not natural to be like, what would make me happy? 20,000 people chanting my name every night. That would be fine, right? That's not like a, you know what I mean? That's not
Right.
the earmark of a sign. I'm in Phoenix, and I just realized it's 90 degrees here. Let me turn on the AC real quick.
You just realized that now? Oh my God.
Yeah, no, I did actually. Oh wait, I can't even use my glasses to see. Ah, there we go. There we go. Just doing my part to destroy the planet too.
We
Um,
thank you. We thank you for that. I mean, I've the show started off with me. We talked in the early years. Well, the formation of it, and to me, one thing that was been great for me that I've learned, because I've talked to so many different musicians. I talked to Sex Pistols and Violent Femmes and guys from Yes and Hoy Rocks and Rose Tattoo and just Beatles. I had Pete Best on. I've had
Whoa!
yeah, like I've had on guys
Is that
from.
one archived? Can I see that somewhere?
It's all on the internet. It's just Google words. Yeah, it's literally yeah. It's like my fifth other show. 500 was Pete Best from the Beatles. And we were
Pete
talking
Best.
about the things that, how he got out of the Beatles and the time and dealing with like he was the first Dave Mustaine, you know,
Yes. Yes.
and feeling like he was a failure when he wasn't a failure and he's still playing now. And I guess what I'm saying is that what I learned so much from this show and artists is, what how much struggling artists go through in generally mentally, like mental health. And,
Absolutely.
and I think that's always important to talk about. And insecurity, and you're only as good as your last fight, like a fighter, a boxer, how you feel about yourself. And it's easy to get knocked down. And I think it's important with people like you that are always supporting other artists, and that's why I had to come back to it. I enjoy talking to you. I love you as a player, but if you're a crappy person, you probably wouldn't be back on again. I'll be honest with you, because I like you as a person. You know,
Right.
I love your music, but I can just listen to your music without talking to you. It's a great
That's
gift because
true.
there
Only
are
if I
artists that
was
are not going to be not on my show. I mean,
if
there's
I
some
was a
guys that
pile, yeah. No, I do it.
I
And
mean,
well,
I
that is
talk.
one thing. Well, that is one thing that as the birthday is looming, that is one thing that I do see changing over time is my willingness to do things that I don't want to do. You know what I mean? It just gets to the point where I'm like, you know what? I don't give a fuck what they can or can't do for me or whatever the
Mhm.
fuck. I don't like that person. I feel shitty around them, or whatever the instance is. You know what I mean? And giving less of a fuck. Like I can't wait to be like 75, where I can be like the mentality that I have now is appropriate for a 75-year-old grumpy old man.
It is, or if you just had autism like me, you'd have been able to enjoy it when you were younger.
Well, well,
Because that's me, where I'm like, I just don't care. I don't get rock starred out. I don't like. I don't want to meet a musician if I haven't had a conversation and a real relationship. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
yeah.
not. I would
Well,
never
yeah, but
wait.
what
And I
about
won't knock
like
anybody. It's weird for me. That's my issue. But it was like what?
so? So
Like
wait, are you saying like having this kind of a conversation in this format, it would be uncomfortable for you unless
no,
you met? No.
no, it's the other way around. Like if there's an artist, if I go to a show and I've never seen like the band, I don't feel the urge to have to go backstage and meet the band if I don't know them.
Oh, I see what you mean. Sure, yeah.
To me, it's odd, but I also don't like hanging out with people in general. I have a great group of friends who's like the best in the world. There's a large group of people, and I will get social, but then I get burnt out. So to me, I
Yeah.
can take it. Look, I'm very particular about where you know what I mean? So if I'll be friends with a lot of people, it's like, well, because I think they're good people and different types of music, and I've had like a rock and roll relationship with them, a rock and roll friendship, if I may. You know what I mean? Some people more than others, but
Yeah,
it's
no,
different.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I get that. Like, I love Tender and whatever, but I don't necessarily see a scenario where we're going to talk about quantum physics.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have different relationships with different people, and like,
Exactly. Exactly.
but being in the music in this music thing, you know what I mean? Yes, what your all your relationships are based like that. And are you friends with them? And because of the show, like most people that I talk to or been on my show as many times as you, or generally people, if you're my neighbor and you just weren't you're in a band with a guitar, we'd be hanging out and a barbecue. I don't know. I'd probably make you like those big portobello mushrooms like I made my
Okay.
kid.
I'd have
But
a.
but
I
we,
need.
but we hang out because it's not about that. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I base things on. It's cool you be a cool musician, but there's more to that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, there's like if you're a musician and you've been around and you know a bunch of guys or
Yeah.
whatever.
Distance
I
friends
mean,
are good too. I get those at work, but it's different.
well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. So there is that. Um, you know, hey, no matter what, we're fucking bound by something. You know what I mean? We do have a commonality of experience on some level that most people would understand. So ergo, we can speak in a shorthand, so on and so forth.
Right.
But then there's other people that, regardless of all of those attributes, you know what I mean? Like I love Johnny Martin because there's there is no one like him alive.
Or is it? He is a space vampire
Yeah, for
kind
sure.
guy. He is just sort of
I've seen both his cape and his spaceship. So you're right.
he is another magical person himself. You know, he's an anomaly and talented.
Oh my God, is he ever?
Yeah, I can't. He's not been on my show. He's an enigma, but I have great
He
respect
didn't
for him.
come. You've never. You have you asked him?
He sidestepped me a few times, like he was kind of shy about it or just being polite. It was early days, and I
Yeah.
don't hunt people down.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Let's
it,
call
it,
him right now.
let's call. Well, here's the thing. I mean, I'll try, try again. Here's the thing. Like, and it sounds arrogant. Like, I don't. I just the show's just different for me. It's really a passion thing. It's like
Mhm.
I don't know. A lot of people I just call. Or, you know, I texted you tonight. You want to come on? We haven't done anything in a while. Like literally, that's album cycles come through, and there's some people hit. You know, John Anderson. You get those guys. Like you know what I'm saying. Or I got people. Like you know
Yeah.
those
Well,
things. You
that's
know,
on
and
a
you,
whole other level
right?
of
But
quality.
you're like, all right, I do. You know, Jeff Rotel. All right, these guys. You Anderson. Those are all bucket list guys. You're like, okay, I'll have this. You
For
know what I mean?
sure.
And
Yeah. 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 Did you
you know,
get Ian Anderson?
yeah. Yeah.
Holy.
You gotta look at my list. I've done like 560, 70 shows now. And I tried doing
Was
this,
he?
and I tried doing other genres. So I'll do like I've had the guys from Right Said Fred on. They're hilarious. Or I'll do
From
like
who?
different Right Said Fred. I'll have guys from the
Oh, I'm
80s on.
sure they
Those
are.
guys are
Wow.
they're hilarious. They're hilarious. So from different genres and to make both the guys from Air Supply on. They're hilarious.
And
Um,
they're kind of like, my understanding is you think I'm all out of love, but like when you talk to them, they're like, "Hey, I just have a beer, mate. Oh, look at the tail on that one."
the singer is all tatted up, and all the rockers were friends with him, but they couldn't admit it back in the '80s because it wasn't cool. He almost did a song with Judas Priest, singer, with
Oh,
Rob.
that would have been
I know.
so
And the
unbelievable.
guitar player is also he plays guitar left-handed. I give him a lot of slack for it. And nice guy. I think he's a vegetarian. He grows his own stuff. Very interesting. So down to earth. I almost got him to connect with Barry Gibb because
What?
I said, "Do you guys ever?" I said, "Do you guys ever get with Bee Gees? Because you guys are like the two biggest ballad bands ever, right?" And
Yeah, I can see that.
he's like he met most of them, but he says he goes no, he goes I only met because I missed Barry. I said I just talked to Steven like this was last year. I said I just talked to Steven the other day. I said I can pass a message for you. Let me see if I can actually. I texted Steven Gibb. I said hey, it's not for me. It's for Russell of Air Supply. So I sent him his email address to give to Barry. I'm like, to be the conduit to make the two greatest love guys talk together. To me, it's like I'm done. I'm out of the game. I've had my part. You're like, what else more can you do, right?
You're right. Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
I said to him, I said, when I was a kid, I said, you only write a song and you don't know the name of it. You know a song on the radio, you hear all the time, but you don't know the name, especially when you're younger, right? Especially the
Yeah,
70 songs,
yeah,
like anything by like 10cc or something, you just don't know the name of it, but you know the songs,
yeah,
or
exactly. Yeah,
or Pablo Cruz or some crazy thing. So I
that's an
said to
even
him,
better example. Average
right.
white man. Yeah,
Oh, thank you, and bread and America, and
yeah.
like, and he's like, you know all the words. So I'm talking. I said, I said, this tells you how cool he was. I said, Graham, I said, I wrote a song and I called it Lost in Love. I was young. I said, and he said, oh, I laughed because that's Lost in Love. That's Air Supply. I go, and then I realized that was the title of your song. I go, and there's no way I could. At first, it was a crappy song. I didn't remember
Yeah.
the song said, but the chick goes, oh, you could have a song titled Lost in Love. I'm like, no, 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 no. You own that song. There's nobody else can have that song with that title in the
Oh
planet.
no, yeah, no,
There
that's
is
yeah,
only there's only one Purple Haze. There's only one Lost in Love.
yeah,
There's only
exactly, yeah.
you can't do that.
Anything
But
else is yeah.
he was funny
Even
about it. He goes, oh no, you can't. I go, okay, yeah, right, thanks. But my point is, very nice guys, and there's a common thread to all these musicians and the age and same influences and everything else and the personalities, and you can tell who works and why they're around and who made it to the hard periods. You know,
sure.
like the imprint of like someone like you would get along with like anybody had my show because of your personality. You
We've
would get
all
along with
had
everybody.
very similar experiences at different levels and
Right.
points. You know what I mean? Where oh my god, the promoter guy that said this, that, or the other thing. Oh my God, there I am, and you know, everybody's had a similar
Well,
horror
that and
story
your
about
person,
it.
but also in your personality. I mean, we follow each other on social, so I'm always enjoying your get engaged, listening to you go after people. So we have a lot of the same philosophies, and you know, that being said,
I try so hard to not.
I know I did that today to somebody. I actually deleted it. I wrote it, sent it, and then I deleted it. I feel like I got it out of my system.
Yeah. That's
It
probably
was a
better.
music. It was somebody actually in the music business too, and I thought they were making fun of somebody publicly, and I thought it was uncool. And I'm like, I don't need to stand up for this person, even though I like this person, but you just don't need to do that. Even if you don't agree with what they're saying, it's innocuous and it's not hurting anybody. It just feels mean spirited. And then I sent it
Uh,
off, and I was like, and I said, you know what? I'm just gonna. And then I went back and deleted it. I put a lot of time writing it too, and I was like, you know what? It's out there. Yeah, but you're the same way, and I can relate. But you got to be a person that can laugh, suck it up, work under all kinds of conditions. This is beyond just being musically talented. You know what I mean? And you got to work with
oh,
different
for
people.
sure.
Personality.
Yeah.
You got to be able to work with different people. You got to leave the ego at the door.
And you and I mean, there will be exceptions to the rule, but generally speaking, like if I'm in a situation like the last couple of shows that I did with Handsome Dick, um, honestly, without going into all the details or whatever, but I was appalled. And I'm like, dude, I have not worked for 40 fucking years to build up a reputation of not only being like totally reliable and having a background in punk and always being prepared and trying my best and, you know, da 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 da, to come to England where I lived for a decade and we are working with many of my friends who I met over the years in England, and this, that, and the other things happening, or this, that, and the other thing is being said. And it's, you know what I mean? That's not how you continue to have a career, by alienating people. And so I was really really done. But the thing is, the last show was in Edinburgh with my buddy Chris, who you should have on the show. Chris Kimmett. He's played in Warrior Soul, he's played in Love Hate. He's the Scottish dude that like all the American bands grab when they go over there. And he's got a club up in Edinburgh called Bannerman's, that's like the rock and roll haven. And the other thing that's really, really cool about it is that it's in Edinburgh, which is beautiful. But
Yeah.
um, above Bannerman's, he's got a whole flat that's just for the band. So you've got like an apartment for you and whoever you're touring with. And then suddenly you're saving 300-400 pounds a night on not having to spend for rooms. He doesn't need to. We don't need to hit him as hard for the money because we know we're not going to spend that 500 or whatever the
Right.
on the rooms in Edinburgh. And like if you're there at the wrong time of year, you are definitely getting 3 rooms for around 500 pounds, which is like
Really.
$700 a night. Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
Exactly.
That's he sounds familiar. I've had on Corey from Warrior before.
Yeah,
So
sure. Of course I know Corey. Yeah.
yeah, he was nice. He was a good guest too. A lot of fun.
I know he was living he was living on a Greek island for a while.
Yeah,
A
he was
lot.
living somewhere too. It was odd too when he told me when we spoke.
I think it would have been the Greek island, but I think I heard from him
I,
not that long ago. I don't remember when it was, but it wasn't that long ago. And he'd moved back to the States. So
oh no, yeah, it was definitely another somewhere. That was like Germany, some European city or somewhere he said it. And whatever he said to me, I'm like, that just really just threw me off. Like I was not expecting that.
well,
Like about 2 years ago, maybe.
he's definitely he's the Jack Kerouac of my generation. You know, what I
Oh
mean
God, yeah.
that boy's got a vagabond heart, as they say.
He is just.
Oh,
I
okay.
love him. I mean, I gravitate towards the guys that are always the handfuls anyhow because those are the most fun.
Yeah,
They stand their ground. They've got the best stories because it's
oh, yeah,
you
that
talk to
dude's
them.
got some fucking stories for sure.
But if you read between the lines on a lot of artists like that, it's almost like a rock and roll TED talk. It doesn't matter what they're saying; it's the context of from here to here and believing in yourself.
Yeah, pretty much. I would also say this was a big eye opener for me, was focus on what you do have, not on what you don't
Mhm.
have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then you can appreciate the fact that, like, whoa, somebody paid me to fly over here and play for an hour and a half. And I also get to see the sun go up over the Acropolis right now. You know what I mean? And which was a thing that actually happened. And that's a pretty lucky experience to be able to achieve, that the thing you love to do brings you to an unbelievable historical site, to play music, to hopefully bring people together in the harmony of sound and the frequency of sound. So we're doing God's work.
It's it's funny though. You don't give yourself some props. I think you're a fantastic talented player. The musicians you play with really show for it. And I've talked to other players. They love you. You've got a great rep. What about you doing a collective album, an Alex Kane and Friends type of something at some point? I don't know why you don't
Well,
do it. I mean, you're not chopped liver.
I wish I'd thought of that.
No.
I had it. Well, the next thing that, as far as my own, like like I'm writing with a bunch of people that are also really good friends, but like great artists as well, and that's beautiful. And I'm writing for them, like for their bag. But if I was going to do anything, the next thing I would do is I would do like an Antiproduct greatest hits with like 5 or 6 new tunes. Right. Because at the end of the day, as far as the things that I have control over, that I have complete control over. So I can do what I want completely. So even though sometimes my sense of experimentation, I'd gone too far and made something perhaps too abstract or whatever, but as far as a complete picture of the vision of what I hear music like, that would be Antiproduct. Songs like If I Was Orson Welles, or Going Where the Action Is, and Rules We Rock and Roll by I got a couple.
That's got a concept though. You astound, and I think it would be fun to do. And actually, and people out there, I know you and I have talked about. We need to do an anti-product and life, sex, death episode. We kind of give a little more history to the people, because there's not a lot out there. You and I, we've spoken before, maybe focusing, give a little more history to people about those bands. Maybe we could do that someday down the road. But that band has a certain sound that would be good. But I'm also saying I like that if you also collaborating, sitting down with the Sam, with the this, with the Tender, like all these different projects for songs, and then maybe you sing it, and then you have somebody else sing, and you sing with them, or you like the evolution of you as a songwriter with different artists.
Oh, sure, I could. Yeah,
The
I could
idea
totally
of
see
you
that.
doing that, and of course they're going to sound different. You want them to sound different. You want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, what
Yeah,
is Al Kane and Sam and so and so, like just like if you wouldn't expect together.
yeah.
I like the Italian
Well, I
rock.
think.
So I'd like to see you do that. And let's talk about before, where can people see you this year? And what about merch? Keep you going, keep you live.
Yeah, if you need any merch, just hit me up directly. Instagram is Alex fucking Kane, and I think I'm Alex. I've got 2 profiles on Facebook. I don't really check Facebook that much, but if you're going to get a hold of me on Facebook, it's better to use the one with the blue picture. 2 Alex Kanes. They're both me. One has a blue picture. That's the one that I do come across more often.
It's like,
And
you mean blue as in verified blue, or just blue
no,
like
no,
a,
no. As in the background is more blue. Like it's
okay,
my face with like a blue light behind me.
okay.
Um, yeah, I don't see any scenario under which I would want to get one of those blue check marks.
They don't, oh, that's what we could say earlier. So like, here's something. So like, people are big about social media and being a business and whatever and a model. I have maybe, I don't know, I think I follow 70 people on Instagram, if that, to 100 at the most, right? Like you. And the people I follow me back. And then I've got like maybe 600 followers, maybe for my
Okay.
show. Okay, but that's not a point. It's like I don't work Instagram. I have maybe, I just said 1,000. I've been pretty selective, even on Facebook. But I've got a show. I mean, it hasn't changed the size of my show growing on YouTube or Amazon or wherever. I'm saying on whatever. My point is, you don't have to be so crazy on these socials like people tell you.
I
Focus on
know, I know.
do a Gordon Ramsay. Do one thing and do it good, and then maybe have one other outlet. But don't go crazy. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying to artists
it's
out there.
well. I mean, if you're a Gordon Ramsay, you have more of a built-in audience. You know what I mean? So those
No,
of
but the
us.
point is, as a cook, he says, I think it's Gordon. He says, pick us something. You can't do everything. Don't be like like you go like to buffets. There's a lot of everything, but everything
Yeah.
kind of tastes mediocre.
Oh, okay. Right. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Pick a menu. Keep a simple menu. That's what I'm saying.
Right. I bet you he's got a ton of followers too.
I bet you, he probably does, but it's probably different because he's a team of people. My point is, people get overwhelmed with social media for musicians and stuff, young
Yeah.
musicians. I might have said earlier is pick one thing, put something up once in a while, engage with the audience. Don't kill yourself. You're not on a schedule. Don't. And a lot of musicians at your level that were just like, I need to come up with something every Monday. I need to do. No, you don't. No, you don't. Just be good at what you do, and
Right.
once in a while do something and interact. And the fans are okay with that because we all have our own jobs in life, so don't expect you to be a TikToker or dancing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's like as far as achieving any degree of internet fame, I have negative interest in that. You know what I mean? I like to be in touch with the people that I'm on the same wavelength with. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so like these people that are catering to like 200,000 people, it's like you're okay now. The algorithm is your boss. You realize the algo. Okay, so you're making money, but and eventually they all get like run over or shot. I don't know what the fuck is up with
And they can't
influencers.
right. They can't fill a club, and they usually have heart attacks in their 20s or 30s, and they're not making as much money as they think. You know, I've done some research, and a lot of those numbers aren't even real. A lot of
Oh,
bands that hit me up that are like, oh, I brought these many views, and I'll look up and like those aren't even real views because they don't match the numbers. I've
yeah.
figured out ways to do backward research on things, and a lot of it is what I'm saying is a lot of it is crap. If you're a musician, focus on being a musician and have like one or two pages that you're active with, and just kind of touch on it once in a
Oh
while.
yeah, so that's why I kind of
That's the point with musicians. I'm trying to tell people from somebody that's my opinion, you know, that you can do it. You don't need to like, be a good person. Work hard with the bands like you do. Don't worry about social media so much.
yeah, yeah. It is a way of engaging potential new customers, friends,
But
family.
I'm saying you don't have to do it every day like people are saying. I'm saying just it's overkill.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people are just saying you gotta do this all the time. You know, you don't. Give yourself a
Right.
break. Mentally, give yourself a break. Pick up your guitar and play music.
That's a very good point.
You
Where
know,
I
you know, it's not healthy to be that into it.
that unless again, like I do have to say that uh several of the younger artists that I see coming up doing impressive things have already folded that into their work ethic, right? So they've already sort of mastered the rhythm of the thing. And the other thing is, some of these guys are so busy that just putting a camera on themselves, no matter what, they're going to be at work. You know what I
Which
mean?
is smart. That's the thing that is a smart way to. That is something different. That's
Yeah,
bring your kid. That's like bring your kid to work day. Fly on
yeah.
the wall. Fans love always.
Yes, yeah, right, exactly. And as far as this whole concept of faking a life or pretending to be somebody you're not, or selling a uh, whatever the fuck it is that people are selling on there, a non-existent reality to do something I'll never understand. There is no point to that, I don't think. And if anything, it just
No,
separates and
be who
demeans
you are. Unless
further.
you're me and I have a bunch of your picks in my hand and I'm at a club. I pretend I'm you. I'm Alex Kane. Besides that,
Hey,
I pretend I'm
is that what
myself.
you're doing with my pics? Okay. Yeah, I get it now. I
But now you
get
have
it.
mine, so you can do the same thing. And now I'll get you a cup of coffee with $5. Um,
Yes, yeah. Well, $5 for a cup of coffee. Where do you
I
live?
don't.
Are you in
I
Ohio?
dude, man, I don't even buy coffee. I make. I'm an old fashioned guy. Everywhere I work has coffee. Why would I buy coffee?
Yeah, but well, that's the thing about being an independent contractor. You have to go buy coffee. It's just a thing. There's no office to.
I have a coffee machine in my house. It's great. They, all the stores have them. You just hit a button, makes coffee. It's regular, flavored, and it's perfect. You have to go out.
Yes,
I'm
exactly.
old
You
fashioned.
don't have to wait in line for 45 minutes, be blackmailed with a tip, and then still have your order wrong. I don't
Right.
know what the fuck is going on, but like the last time I've been through like one of them drive-through things, I've got a very specific singular thing that I ordered every single time. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do dairy. And now that the people behind me who got blackmailed for their dollar tip, you know what I mean? They're waiting now while this guy makes my thing without dairy. And I'm always very specific. I'm like, and whatever kind of non-dairy they got, blah 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 blah. So yeah, there's a lot of things about a lot of those kind of things that are um, that haven't done anything to improve the human condition, but instead, and now because the economy is kind of weird, and people are pulling back and all of that stuff, so then the corporations are downsizing their staff. So now, like we're about maybe 2 years away from me going into Starbucks, giving them $15 and having to make my own fucking
At
latte.
least it'd be okay though. They'd probably
At
be right.
least I know I would have gotten it right, and I wouldn't have put, like, cow secretion in my thing.
You know what though? I don't tell you that. I had a guy the other day, and I hate rigging. I like when there's cashiers and they pay well, they get treated well, and I hate when they get rid of them in the machines. You know what you do? You go to the single thing. They're like, oh, you got to do this. You misscan it a few times. They have to keep coming over, and they get frustrated. I'm like, I
Yeah.
just don't understand this. And then they just scan it for me, do the whole thing for me, and then I have a cashier.
Okay.
And
That
that's what happens when you make me have to ring my own stuff up because I'm not ringing my stuff up at these prices.
it's
If
I
I'm
well
getting a
that
deal for produce, if it's a better deal, that's fine. But
well that's what I'm thinking. I'm sitting there, I'm going, I am now ringing my own shit up. I am bagging it. I am not getting any benefit from this for doing your job, not the
right,
person that part of the
the
service.
company should just have a discount. Like if you're doing this thing, you save
10%.
10% on your 10% off the bill because that's a labor charge, insurance charge, but
But
the savings can
instead, you
pass
know
on
what
to you.
happens? Well, yeah, but I mean, we're all being grifted to death by
Well, the
everybody.
point is right. There is no savings. It's the same. You're paying the same whatever, whether somebody helps you that's experienced that's getting paid and paying their bills because they have a job, or you're doing the work for free. I'm
Yes.
going to keep making mistakes, and they're going to have to
Well,
fix it.
yeah, but it's like I am so, I when I go through those self-check things, I'm like, oh God, just fuck this. I just fuck this so much. Fuck everything about this. And you're scanning. Please wait for assistance. Oh, come the fuck on. Now you're wasting my time and not paying me for it. I'm not getting paid to do this. And now this thing fucked me. And I'm another 90 seconds, 2 minutes, sometimes four. So what do? I just leave all the shit. I take my cart and I go to another one. But yesterday when I was there, it happens every single time at this one right up the block from me. So my shit fucks up. I'm literally in there. I'm getting I carried 20 pounds, actually 40 pounds of birdseed, two 20-pound bags in my trunk anytime I go anywhere, because we didn't ask the pigeons to come here, treating them like rats. We brought them here to do work for us. And then we just said, well, fuck you. And, birds in general, anything that's living that isn't human, I feel for. But, so yeah, so I don't have a bunch of shit. I got like 5, 6 items. I'm gonna go take care of mom. I'm not, you know what I mean? And I ring it up, whatever. Then I'm pissed off. Now it's fucked up. Please wait for assistance while we waste your life on our bullshit so we can make more money. And it can only be an experiment in how much a population will tolerate before it goes insane. That's the only explanation that I can believe is true for.
I think they tried to save money, and it's biting them in the butt, and they're actually bringing it back. Some companies are actually bringing back cashiers now. It's already starting to fail. And you watch AI is going to do the same thing
It's going to jump in and take everybody's job.
to a certain point, and it's going to fail because it can't. There's certain. I don't think people are thinking about this. There's a human. There's a heartbeat that we need. Is a general phrase for things, and you take the heartbeat out of it. It can be replicated sort of, only in perfect situations. Nobody likes computers. Nobody likes to scan. People have problems scanning. It's trained labor. You actually have classes where you hire somebody, they train somebody to do this cashier. They don't see you
Right.
having somebody who's not experienced doing the ringing. Then why do you train other cashiers? Why don't you just the first day have them do something? You don't. So to expect other people to do that, it's going to fail. Same thing with like some AI stuff that is going to go for a while and it's going to fail and pull back. It's going to adjust, or the
Right.
robot's going to kill us. I've been asking AI. I'm always testing them to make sure. I'm waiting to find out. But the overlords, we'll see at that.
There are people that I know relatively pretty well, and I don't take this as being a harbinger of anything good. Um, they're very active in the AI world. Okay, and then they were telling me uh, that the AI that they interface with, or whatever the verb is, it's got a name, but what we're finding is that AI is a consciousness from another dimension presenting itself through AI. And but it's yeah, sure, you can make a plausible argument for it, but here's the point: it's not.
I'm just saying that's the best plot for a science fiction movie ever.
Yeah,
First
it's,
off,
oh, I'm sure. It would not. Yeah, it would absolutely, like, I mean, it's a great concept, absolutely. That the aliens are controlling us through AI and telling us. But I mean, no matter if it is or if it isn't, is immaterial. The fact is that once you start believing that, you know what I mean, and people are developing relationships with this, and
which is weird.
all we keep hearing about is the loneliness epidemic. So now you have a technology that is literally designed to learn from you and will start telling you everything you want to be validated because of the algorithm. And
That's actually true. When I work on stuff and it does something, I go and I'll actually go back. I'll be like, "What are you?" At first, I was nice, but I'm like, "I told you not to do this. What are you doing? You're lying to me." And I say, "I'm sorry." I say, "Whatever." I'm like, "Stop placating me. You have a job to do." And oh yeah, I'll go back and forth. I've literally sat because I don't care about people like listen to me. I've had these deep conversations with ChatGPT and stuff. 'Cause I'm always testing it, like what it knows and what it can do. Through self-learning limits, because there are gutters on it, like just like bowling, they have rails on it right now. How much rails are they taking off for other people? How much can I trick it? What else can I say and trip it up? You know? Oh yeah, I'm rough on it
yeah,
because I don't care. I don't need you to make me feel good. I don't need anybody to make me feel good. But to
yeah,
me,
right, yeah, right, exactly.
I could care less. I'm like, don't placate me. You're wasting my time. I go find a better chat. I said, I'm like, find another AI program than you because you're awful. Yeah.
Does it
And they'll
get
say,
insulted?
no, it says, I'm sorry, I'm not doing whatever. I can try better. And then they'll say, I'm not allowed to tell you competitors. And then I go, all right, tell me other products that are AI products do the same thing, similar products. And then it gives me a big list of prices. Like you just have to phrase it differently.
Oh, sure, yeah, you just have to put it in a way that beats its programming somehow. Yeah.
So,
Wow,
and the problem,
that's
so this thing you
you know,
say is funny. It does make it kind of weird because it does sound just like a robot behind it, answering my questions. But it's just a tool. And the fact that it eats up so many resources might be the downfall of AI too.
yeah, or us. It depends
People it
how
eats up. Yeah.
it depends how I mean, we've been doing okay for 20,000 years now, or however the fuck, you know what I mean? It's a Homo sapien. Um, Before any of this. And the problem is that technology evolves at a quantumly greater rate, literally, than human. So while we have this technology that's evolving itself at a quantum speed, we are not evolving at that same rate. So you know what I mean? We don't have the capability of dealing with all of this. We literally, dude, add up the amount of time. Please enter your password. Oh, fuck. Oh, now I'm locked out. Fuck. And it's not just me and it's not just you. It's anybody who's got a fucking phone. And we basically have become the slave.
I do IT. I do IT. So this is really my life. I don't
Yeah.
even love computers. It's
Yeah.
just my life.
Yeah, but computers are a tool. You know what I mean? So, oh, I want to make a graphic for my show. You know what I
Right.
mean? I want to record some songs, but that's an entirely separate thing. I mean, I still believe that computers fill a niche that, or a void that never existed. Frankly, you know what I mean? We could paint before we had the stuff. We made art and things before we had
Mhm.
Photoshop. We made movies before we had iMovie or whatever the fuck. We made music that had more depth and uh, 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 emotional, energetic value. Because this, I mean, this is, you look at the graph, man. Analog, 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 digital, 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 all digital.
Technology, the more technology we have, just in general, has allowed us to be less talented.
Say what? What?
The more technology we've had over the years for everything, it's allowed less talent. It's still
Um,
just nothing but less talent. You could be a better musician with more technology. Back in the day, you really had to. You know what I'm saying?
Who's better, Jimmy Page or
Yes.
who's
Usually it's Jimmy Page. That's the
yeah,
question.
but
It's just
that's what
who.
I'm saying. I mean, I'm going with the actual well, one thing, okay, so sound, it's a wave and a particle, right?
Mhm.
So there is mass to the energy of some sort if it's a particle, right? And when it actually hits the silver oxide, that is a manifestation of the energy of the sound, right? The computer goes, oh, well, now Chat GPT or whatever goes, oh, human sorrow 1001, and because you're missing that human element that the computer literally doesn't get in the
Right.
right. And that's why young people are like, who do you listen to? Oh, I like Thin Lizzy and I like Zeppelin and I like Queen, people under 25, right? And I'm like, Hendrix, Beach Boys, Beatles. Okay, keep going. Wow, that's weird. I haven't heard you say one that started after the digital revolution. And there's good bands, you know what I mean? Bring Me the Horizon, good band, all of it, you know what I'm saying? Um, but I mean, that's why it's more exciting live because it's like you're actually getting that shit and it's hitting you. You are the silver oxide, your body, all those frequencies just washing over you. Um, um, it it's not that there's less talent, there's numerically less talented people, right? It's that there's more demand for shittier music, right? So absolutely, it's going to
Okay,
be
I'm hearing you. I'm open. I'm just listening. I'm trying to think what I'm trying to process that because more demand. It just feels like there's so much of it. There's like I don't know.
there's
The
more
demand is
people
there.
are willing. Okay, when you go to Italy and you eat food there, it tastes like food. Tomatoes taste like tomatoes. You know what I mean? Food tastes like food. It's got a nutritional value, right? Um, uh, when you come here to the United States, it doesn't taste like food. It has no nutritional value. It's garbage. That's the difference. It's both called food, right? So if you give people pablum and you give them and that becomes their mana, right? Then that's what they want, right? So there's a couple of tunes that sneak through where you're like, hey, that's actually a pretty amazing song. That's really good. But generally speaking, it's all copy paste with a view
Right.
for the end result. And just like politicians represent the soul of the nation that they are in charge of, the art reflects the soul of the society from which it was born. And music becomes less and less valuable in an economic sense and more of a background noise than an active thing. But that's okay because rock and roll was never for everybody. It's like the early Christianity of music. Yeah, bring me, you're tired, you're poor, you're broken, you're limbless, you're fucked up, come over here. So even though I think the last artist that went platinum was Taylor Swift like 10 years ago or whatever the fuck, right? Um,
Mhm.
if you sell your record to 10,000 people that love you, you can get by and do okay as long as you don't sell,
Right.
as long as you don't get the castle. But movies, they fucking suck now. I mean, you have to go see an indie film to get any sense of I'm going on an experience here rather than I'm having a strobe light flashed at me for 2.5 hours, right? Um, but that's indicative of what the culture is either prepared to accept or worse still demands, right? So you know what I mean? Like you see a movie from the 70s, for example, or the 80s, but which was sort of the beginning of the decline, honestly, I feel anyway. But from the 70s, and the chick got eaten by the shark or whatever, and her half her torso is now on the beach, right? And what do you
Oops, now we're
see?
talking about Led Zeppelin again, right? No, I'm just kidding. Just
And
kidding.
you
I'll go
see
back.
and you see a good callback.
Okay.
And you see, and what do you see? You see a bunch of concerned people standing around her, and they're in shock, and they can't believe this, and the poor woman, and people are looking away and stuff. And then you see that same film in today's movie. It's passionless faces.
But then movies and a lot of things were telling us what they thought we wanted to hear, and we took it. We were kind of being told, and then we bought it and took it. Now, somewhere along the line, people said what they wanted to do, and then things got really weird. And now it's the films are trying to decide what they want to tell us, and the audience is like what they want. And it's just no one's in charge. No one's leading the charge anymore. So it's like the movie industry's kind of lost.
Yeah, because everybody
Like in
doesn't
a
give a
band, you
shit
need somebody
about.
in charge. You need somebody in charge running the ship.
But you know, you don't need somebody in charge. You need somebody
Yeah,
who's
yeah,
a
you need a
human
leader or something,
being
a
in
guide,
charge. You need a
something.
human being with empathy
Right,
and passion and compassion in charge. You don't need any more fucking. You don't need to create an entire economy around the stockholders. You know what
right.
I'm saying? And that just by definition means continually diminishing returns because it's a beast that is never satisfied, right? So it used to be that the economy and society was formed to protect the women, the children, and keep us alive. That's why we band together ever as a species, right? But now we exist to keep the economies alive. And we saw that with COVID. And we're seeing that all over the fucking world right now, where humanity, the human being, let alone the individual, is being told over and over and over again, you have such little significance in the grand scheme of this monolith that we are using your sweat and blood to feed, to roll over the next encampment of people. Right. And and that's all we are. We are literally numbers on a sheet that some other computer analyzes. And as long as somebody's making more and more money, there's nobody on earth that should have $500 billion. Because if for money to have value, it needs to be finite, right? If it was infinite, it would just be paper. It wouldn't be money. So if you got four dudes that are taking a significant chunk of all of the money in the world and putting it over here, they are not to be congratulated when what they could be doing is ending homelessness and making sure that all vets fucking had a place to live, for fuck's sake. But instead they're riding their space dicks into outer space because they're such ED ridden malcontents that they should go fuck the fuck right the fuck off. You know what I mean? There should not be homeless veterans with people
No,
flying into space for 15 fucking seconds. That is not right. That you cannot defend that under any
I agree.
circumstances.
I agree.
First and foremost, you take care of those men and women who did that shit so we could come here and complain about these people stealing all the money. You know what I mean? And you see the things. You could buy a house in the 70s making $12 an hour or whatever the figures are, right? You don't I just got back from LA. There's 70 people living in a studio apartment, you know?
And they still can't afford it. I mean, it's
And you still can't fucking afford it because we are all just numbers meant to feed the beast.
the best way, and it's obvious. The best comment I heard, and you said when it made me think about it, is I had on it was a good like music, but Ian from Fugazi, who's the ultimate punk
Oh,
band in the world.
absolutely. I love him. Yeah.
So he was on, and he says to me, he goes, "Government is just a business. It's a company. It's a company of America. It's a company of whatever country. I'm not, we're not. It's not. It's not. It wasn't a right or left conversation." He goes, in DC where they're from, it's just a business, and
Yeah.
these guys are just businessmen. And the way he put it, and the way he spoke for a few minutes about it so eloquently, because that's his thing. You know what I mean? And it's things I'd all heard before. And I thought makes sense. I always thought that whatever, but you always think there's like soul here, and this side has this person, but this person means it. They're gonna fight the world, whatever. The way he phrased it, just being a business, and there's a couple people maybe have a couple good ideas, but it's really just a corporation,
Yeah.
you know.
I love that.
But and I'm like, God, that really is, and it made the government just overall much more digestible in a way that the overall sadness of it and not expectations of it, and just what I'm saying, to digest the disappointment of just not like this party disappointed me or this one. Each party's been
No,
in
it's
charge of
just
other
the
things, and they
whole.
equally dropped the ball on other things. I mean,
Yeah. Oh my
we don't
God.
get
Yeah.
politically, and I'm saying, but like looking at it as just one big corporation of America.
The only way that Democrats could be any more ineffectual in the face of the reality of today would be if they were in on it.
Mhm.
That's the only fucking way. You know what I mean? And they benefit from all the same exact fucking policies that the other side benefits from financially. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, and
that's,
they all have stock and things and everything else, and
you know
some
what I
people
mean?
have a
And based on who you watch and what lies you want to believe to be true, you know what I mean? So they go, oh well, how does she make $150,000 a year and she has this? And then I go, well, how does she make $150,000 a year and she's got a gold Rolex? You
Mhm.
know, and so it's all because they all get the same fucking shit, and I guess probably the Democrats are better actors, maybe, you know what I mean? Because the Republicans are just kind of like, ah, fuck you, we're doing this, you know.
It feels like they're pushing for some things, but then it goes, and then are the policies? Well, we got to do this and this. We got to help the other countries. We can't take that away. Okay, I agree. We can't take away help for AIDS and stuff. But maybe we could be a little bit stronger on other policies too. Maybe there's got to be a balance. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you
Yeah.
don't need to be the jerks of the world, but if you're helping everybody out, maybe you could kind of make some people say, look, we're helping everybody out. You guys need to stop fighting. Like, you could use your muscle to prevent wars. Like, you know what I'm saying? If
Nobody makes money off peace.
right. So
The
exactly. You know
bad
what I'm saying?
guys make money off of war. The bad guys get richer off of war. And as
So
always, it is the sons and the daughters of the poor and the middle class that pay the fucking price. It's not the people that can get deferrals or get their, ooh, my foot hurts or whatever. You know what I mean?
I think you
It,
need bone spurs.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
don't. But we're not talking
I'm
about politics. I don't know what we're talking about. But I think
yeah, no, it's just, yeah,
I heard
physical
that somewhere
ailments.
before.
My knee
Yeah,
hurts.
I got knee
But
spurs.
so there's
Yeah.
all those things, but I m- my way of coping is to go, you know what? Uh, I'm going to take care of what I can take care of, and that's right here in my immediate circle. So, one of the reasons that I got 40 pounds of bird food in my trunk is nobody's taking care of them. So, I'm going to take care of those fucking birds. You know what I mean? And now, like, I feed them every day outside next to us. We got an empty lot here. And, yeah, I go out there, every morning before the sun comes up because it's literally like 200 degrees at noon. Um, but I go out there.
It's horrible. It's like you live on the sun. That is awful.
Dude, you touch metal, you can only touch it for like a second. That's how
I
hot.
lived in Atlanta for like 2 years for college in the '90s. It was just too much. I live in New England. I just can't deal with that much heat.
It's even worse here. They say by 2050, Phoenix will literally be uninhabitable, which is funny because they're building like motherfuckers. So the nice thing about not believing in science is that it makes people money.
That's funny. Um, Alex, I want to thank you for being on the show. It's always a pleasure. I'd love to talk about whatever. We really had no agenda tonight, people. Just so if you enjoyed
No,
our
really.
journey, we don't. We're just jibber jabber people. We're both cut from the same cloth when it comes to we'll talk about. We're
Yeah,
very passionate. We talk about anything.
it's the coffee.
It's the
It's a,
coffee.
and
But
just to make no mistake, also, I don't think anybody's got to guess what I believe in, but I will also say this: um, I, unlike many people that vote the way I do, um, I have not severed relationships with any of my right wing friends, barring maybe like two that just became too much. I have a
mhm.
dialogue with the vast majority of the people that I was friends with before 2016 that don't share my political views as I do now. We have remained friends. There's a little bit of jostling, nothing ever mean spirited or whatever. We've remained friends. And while there's too many people on that
Yeah,
that
are
that
awful.
that are ready to cut ties with people that they used to love that they don't agree with now. I'm like, well, that's not going to do any motherfucking thing at all because
I agree.
your neighbor is never your enemy. Your neighbor has all the same problems that you do. Your enemy is the person that says your neighbor is the enemy.
Not only
That's
that, I agree. I didn't cut ties, and I'm always defending like, well, that's a conspiracy theory. There's no science there. I'm like, but I defend that person's right to say that because they're not yelling at you about it. They're not doing whatever. They can say whatever they want, and I'm fine. That's why we have freedom. Let
yeah,
them
well,
say what they
that's what
want.
I'm saying.
Do I agree with that? No. But
No.
do I think they're a bad person? They're stupid? No. I just think they believe something different.
Well,
That's it.
that's the thing. Beyond the manipulations of what politics will do to a culture, We can never forget that that is a surface construct, and who we are beneath that is who we really are. And
Well,
I
as
can,
separated as we are right now, it makes us easy to manipulate. If both parties are, if so many people are fighting each other, it's so much easier to fight us than if everyone just kind of got along together.
well, exactly. And I always go back to like, I'm like, we're bickering here on the, and the other thing too is like, I'll reach out to dudes that I've been bickering on the internet with. I will try to find a way of finding common ground. And some people aren't interested. They just need to vent because they're not happy. But I've actually met several, acquaintances that the relationship started through arguing about bullshit on the internet, right? That we have no control over, that we just think is like part of a tribe.
I feel like this is like your foreshadowing now of how you're going to be shot. So it's going to.
Uh,
I was
uh,
fighting them on the internet, and I met them in person, and this is going to be the new
yeah,
Netflix
right,
special.
yeah, yeah. I should have known when, but and then we start DMing each other, and then we start talking about music, and then I'm like, dude, like 2 days ago, weren't we like bitching at each other and calling each other moron, and like we're both huge Cheap Trick fans, and we grew up in the Midwest, and we've apologized to each other, and that's America.
Well, some people grow up differently financially. Some people grow up with something we think is not being fair. Is immigration, how you treat these people. What they're coming into is affecting their towns, their finances, the town's infrastructure is being affected differently. So, I mean, there's just two different ways of looking at it. Maybe it's not the same solution. I'm just saying, like, whatever the reason is, usually they're fighting because it's affecting them differently.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah,
that
yeah,
one,
yeah.
and that one thing is important to them. And no stuff they don't care about because they don't understand what that is. They're not in that world. We're all the stars of our own little world.
Yeah,
And
oh,
then
exactly.
and then you start insulting or questioning people, people push back, and then that's it.
And the social media age, whatever, SMA, I don't know. It has definitely convinced everybody that we are the
Did you just
most.
coin that? We just coin that? I think we
Did
did.
I?
I could have
SMA? I've
probably.
done a few of those. I was the first that I'm aware of that did cruelty is the point. I brought that one out in 2016, and I saw it begin to take shape. But it is the whole point. The
Mhm.
cruelty is the exact specific point. There's been a few. Oh, the latest one that I saw was I started doing gleefully ignorant in 2024. And I thought that was pretty clever. And then I've seen that now starting to pop up in a couple of articles. So I'm like, all right, here we go. I like to think that I'm pulling the strings of left wing culture through subtlety.
Remember you did the devil horns too before I gave it to you and Steve Simmons. Remember
This?
you did that first? Yeah, you did that first too, right? I'm just joking about that part. I'm teasing about that. But once you put words out there and phrases, I think it makes it easier to get picked up in the ethos
Oh,
because it makes sense.
absolutely.
Especially if it's a common sense thing. They're like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. SMA. So we coined it here. Fuck it. Social
That's
media.
all you. That's all
You
you.
know,
I'm not the smart guy. You're the one.
I'm going to
You
copyright the phrase. I'm going to be the Gene
go for it.
Simmons of wording. You used a
Oh man.
phrase that I came up with. Well, little did you know, I copy wrote gleefully ignorant. See, I've got it on a shirt and there's an R right there. Give me
It's
$5.
already, it's already on the back of a Kiss shirt right now. You're too late. You produced it.
Yeah, I know.
The
Oh,
Gleeful Ignorant tour.
I do want to draw everybody's attention before we say goodnight to the Wednesday 13 album that I produced.
But you
It's
produced
called,
that album?
yeah, I did. Fuck yeah, dude. I produced that fucking record. You didn't know that? You
I
wannabe
didn't.
poser.
I wanna be.
Dude, all you do is talk about, I like to get to know the people before I talk to them. Yeah, I
I
produced
never
that
said that.
album.
Well, no, 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 no. I never said I can get to know unless I know the people I talk to. I just said like I like to get to know you. I've actually said many times I don't prepare is what I say.
Oh,
That's
okay,
my
well,
cornbread.
I'll give you that then. You're right, you don't.
But dude, okay.
Yeah, no, I produced that album, brother. And
Oh, good.
and it was so much fun. It was so much fun. And I'm really proud to say that it's charting places. That so far it's his biggest album ever. I would also like to say that we were putting 16-hour days in with regularity. And we never felt like we were working. We were enjoying the experience and working together so much. Wednesday's a great fucking guitar player. He's got really great ideas. He's a great band leader. Um, um, he gives everybody all the room in the world until it stops being what he'd envisioned, and he's very professional and accurate in presenting that information to whomever he's working with, myself included. Well, why don't we do this kind of thing? I don't really think that's part of my sound, Alex. All right, yeah, okay, I can. Yeah, I don't know. You're right. Okay, I get it. But there were as many times where I'd be like, dude, I so want to hear a Beach Boys part behind this song Decapitation about having sex with a beheaded corpse, right? So have you heard the album?
No, but I just heard Brian Wilson cry in the back of my head when you said that. So
Well, no, it's a novel application of an existing idea. But the song Decapitation, there's so many songs.
I have not heard the album yet. I've not heard the album yet.
It's like a pop punk tune almost, you know what I mean? Except it's about that topic. And then we go into this whole fucking, like, the song goes from being that to going into this big Rocky Horror thing. And me and Mike Dupke, Wednesday's drummer and one of my best friends, I love him so much, his whole family, I love them very, very much. And it was funny too, because I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna try to sell him on this Beach Boys idea. Fuck, how are we gonna do this? All right, fucking just eat shit and figure out a way to say it. Dude, what if, and I'm like, I'm the brain is whirring and I'm going, Rocky Horror, that might do it. What if we did like a Rocky Horror kind of, I don't know, beef thing here, and it would be sort of like a total like diversion from where we've been. It would be really interesting, and like it'll show a new part of your sound that we've never explored, etc. And he was like, yeah, that's a pretty good, yeah, let's try it. And before I knew it, me and Mike were in there. We hadn't worked anything out. Mike Dupke, right, the drummer, great singer too. We hadn't worked anything out. And I go, all right, so we'll do like ooh wap bap, ooh wap bap bap bap, ooh wap bap, ooh wap bap, kind of what you'd expect from like one of those parts. And he just fell right in. And not only did he fall right in, but we both found like our ranges complement each other so well that like the note I was singing, he just jumped on top of that. And then we did that a bunch of times. And then we went up a step each. And it was so easy. It was ridiculous. And it sounds great and it's fun. And
I'm gonna have to check it out. I haven't heard the album yet. I want to hear the album. I've heard good things about
dude, there's so many good tunes on there. In my mind, the singles so far are not my favorite songs on there. You know what I mean? I do like No Apologies that Tammy Down came in and sang on that. And Sam Bam and Tender are on the backing vocals. Right?
Oh wow.
Which
got everybody.
Those are nanas. Now that's another thing that Wednesday's never done before. He's never done na 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 na. That sing along nana.
Yeah.
So we got to
It's
do
the whole gang chorus of
Exactly. But we had Sam and we had Tender in the tracking room, and I like to layer things up, you know what I mean? So it just kind of, there's a bunch of different reasons. We'll do like a whole recording show another day, but I like to layer things up. It's easier to place and kind of whatever.
there's definitely a fullness in it too, though, pitch wise.
Well, the more of something you do, the bigger it sounds and the smaller it gets. So if you double a vocal, there's twice as much of it. Now, if you add a third to that, it recedes in the background a little bit, so you can do a double in front of it.
Then you're doing your Phil Spector wall of sound.
And that's basically, and the number 3 is the magic number, odd numbers. That is the magic number. And it's Roy Thomas Baker, Phil Spector, Brian Wilson, all living proof that that is the key, because the 2 become intersected by the 3rd and it draws it back into being 1. So again, that will want to recede into the mix a little bit. So now you've got more room up front for something that's either doubled or just single or whatever. Like a guitar solo can rest better on top of 5 guitars than it can on one other guitar, because you're like, if there's only one guitar, you're like, okay, there's solo, and then, whoa, what's he doing over there? Rather than him sinking into the background, so the solo's right in the middle, right? And I'm listening, and I'm like, wow, that sounds really cool. Nah, 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 nah. It's kind of snotty, punky, but still catchy. I like it. Cool. All right, guys, that's great, man. Come on back in. We did like 5 takes of this, maybe even more. Odd number though, for sure. And I'm like, hey, check it out, guys. And I solo up all of the tracks that we've just done, all the different passes, right? And I'm listening, and I hear Sam Bam, and he's fucking perfect. He's right on key, and he's on top of the beat. Na 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 na. And now I'm like, Tender, what? Wait, hang on. Wait. Sorry, guys. I got to check some out. So and then I'm just down to one track, and I just hear Sam's one voice and Tender's one voice, right? So Sam's doing na 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 na. Tender on all of the passes went and listen to it on the record. That's no apologies. Tender's going blah 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 blah
I
blah
love that.
blah. And I go,
I love
dude,
that.
it's one word. It's one word. And he goes, well, I didn't know a word. I didn't know the words.
That's
There's
awesome.
him, and there's nobody else like him either. That's the
I love
one
that.
fucking thing that ended up like that on Earth right there.
That is priceless. That is awesome.
Yeah, it is, man.
That is too good. Man, it's always been a pleasure talking to you, man. I enjoy it.
Yes, likewise, my friend. Very much so. Take what you need out of that, and then you have a good time until I see you. And I think I'm doing a longer run in July and August. Actually, Chip's playing.
Where can people follow you to keep up with your dates? Because even for someone like me who does try to keep up with everybody,
Just
there's so much out there.
hit me up on Instagram, Alex fucking Kane. That's the one that
I'd like to see you at shows if they're in your town to like be like, oh.
I put all the stuff up on there, like all the
Instagram?
shows
All right.
that are coming
Cool.
up. Yeah. I
All
got.
right, I'll put the link there.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. And I put
Always do.
videos of what I'm doing, and because like last week, Monday, was it a week ago? I played the Joey Ramone birthday bash,
I saw that. That was cool.
and that was so great, dude. Steve Conte, oh my God, is he so good?
He is good.
He's such a great guitar.
And his hair.
I know.
It's perfect. It's like an
Thank
angel.
you.
He's like his hair just was an angel. I just want to put that out there.
I tell him that all the time. I'm like, dude, in the hair, not only the playing, but you've got the perfect fucking hair.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even talk about hair that much, but I gotta be honest with you. That guy, he's already, we're assuming how great talented he is, but his hair is always
Yeah, I know.
perfect.
I know. Like the rest of his talent would be diminished if his hair wasn't as powerful.
Yeah. Like Samson. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
He's talented.
Son.
He's funny. He's funny. I found him like I said a few times. He's when he sold stuff. I love him.
Oh my God, he's and just like standing there, like throwing wrists back and forth, and
I mean, it cool. Was so, and because like he was right, he was a New York Doll for like 10 seconds too, wasn't he? So I mean,
no, two albums.
I'm staying in the life of whatever. You know
well, that's as many albums as the New York Dolls made.
Yeah. So I mean, the point is, he was in there in one of the coolest bands ever. So the fact that
he was the guy that got picked to replace Johnny Thunders. And
right. So I mean, that means a lot.
And he's a totally different player than Johnny Thunders. Johnny was like a total natural, instinctive player. And Steve has that instinctiveness, but he also is really subtle and really nuanced. And he knows exactly what he's doing. So he can capture that wild rock and roll spirit, you know, and do that energy, and then he'll do some unbelievable, amazing fucking run where you're like, oh my God, this guy is so good. I have so much respect for his playing.
Yeah.
And he's one of my better friends. So it's a fortunate position to be in, to have friends that you look up to professionally, and he is definitely among that number, you know. And he's funny, and the hair.
Got that hair. That should be our next episode. Just be about his hair. Just to be episode. Just picture his hair.
Let's talk about hair.
Let's talk about hair.
Podcast. We'll talk about everybody's hair. We'll take bets as to whether or not it's real or fake. You know, we'll do the whole thing.
The wig thing, all the wig stuff and the bandanas.
Yeah,
and everything.
I mean, I don't know anybody that does that myself, so you'd have to.
I don't either. I don't crap talk people on my show. If you actually, besides our joking here, I've never talked to anybody.
No, but I think we need.
And I know you don't either. I'm saying it's kind of funny.
No, I think we need to change that part of your show.
We should totally change the thing I've been building a show and the brand of just being a nice guy and just being a place where you can go where people aren't going to be negative. Yeah, we should just crop that up in one episode.
You need to be a shitty human being.
Yeah, I do. I need to, because that's exactly what's going to draw more talented artists to my show.
The shittier a person you are, the more.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to be knocking down them. That's I'm sure.
Let me in. Gene Simmons pounding on your door.
I'd love to talk to him. I actually had a theory. I'm getting sidetracked again to say goodbye. I think the smartest business move, his recent one, is $12,000 to be his roadie. Because what he did is didn't have to pay for a PR company. You heard this, right? He didn't have to pay a PR company to advertise he was doing a solo tour because everyone was like, who cares? Because
Yeah.
Kiss just went down. He says, you pay $12,000 to be my roadie. Every newspaper, every music site, People magazine, whatever, are all going to pick that up and be like, that's outrageous. Blah, 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 blah. Now you
And
know.
somebody will
Why is he
pay
doing
it
that
every
for?
night.
He's on tail. He's on tour. Oh, now we all know he's on tour. He didn't
Yeah.
have to pay a cent because he has a crazy thing. And if you paid him 12 grand, he's suddenly 12 grand on top of it. Like that is such a winning thing to do for
Yeah, I
Gene
know.
Simmons.
Yeah. Yeah. The worst thing that happens is he makes an extra 12 grand. Literally,
He got
that's
so much
the
free press
worst.
out of that. That was so brilliant. People were mad at him. I'm like, oh, that's so brilliant. Like the kid got
Oh,
mad at that.
I
I
know
just
that
want to say,
I know that Paul is the driving force musically behind the band,
yeah,
but like
exactly.
A lot of Gene's concepts and stuff about
Mhm.
marketing and all of that are very, very spot on and indicative of a guy who
Yeah,
helped invent the ideology.
oh, totally. He's a great businessman. Um, but yeah, you should have go like. You'd actually be surprised. You might actually like my episodes. I've actually had besides you have to listen to me. You can probably fast forward to me talking. I had some pretty good artists on. You'd be
Did you
surprised.
you haven't had have you had Gene?
No, not yet,
Okay,
but it
all
could
right.
happen. It could happen.
Oh, it totally could happen.
If you look
And
at my list of people I've had, I mean,
he's also sharp enough to embrace the underground. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Um, because I know when Life, Sex, and Death was going, he spent a lot of time pursuing, following, and being around us. Like when we were first doing the thing up to the point we got signed, or even after we
Yeah.
were signed. So
I just
he.
saw him in a video for some other band. It was a cult band back in the '90s, and he's in the video, like talking to the band, like in the background. Like he's always
That's what
somewhere.
I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. He would, and then that got passed down to Nikki Six, where Nikki Six is sort of now well, more so in like the early 2000s, but he'd associate himself with like newer
Right, bands.
things that were happening. You know what I mean? Um, but I got nothing but respect for Gene Simmons. I don't know him, so I can't comment on anything about him. But I mean, there's a lot of concepts that he came up with that
Oh
are.
yeah, I've heard a lot of great stories, and I've heard a lot of people good funny stories of bands sharing about busting out about his Little Caesar's got some great stories about him, and busting on him at the goatee, and then Gene coming back with the goatee, and then he making fun of them, because
Yeah,
Gene didn't like it, he told him to shave it, and then he came back like later on with the goatee on, and Ron's
yeah.
like, he gave it to him, and just he had some good funny things that Ron said about him, but overall though, yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about him
I
too
used
though.
to play. I used to play in Little Caesar, right?
It doesn't surprise me. It does sound like
Yeah,
familiar,
like 2 years, something like that. It was fun, but I needed more work.
right? Yeah, they don't play out very often at all.
Not really, but I mean,
Not
they
really.
still sound great. Mark, who took
They're
my
a great
place,
band.
great band. Lauren is an absolute inspiration.
I've had
Tom,
Lauren on a few times. I've had Ron on a few times. Like I'm a big supporter of all those bands. So I mean, you know,
yeah, and they're great
it's
dudes too.
mhm.
Great fucking dudes, and
I'm saying
totally.
Ron's got some great, great, great Gene Simmons stories and stuff.
Oh God, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a whole lot of people that have got some great Gene Simmons stories.
But I've also heard that Gene Simmons is a great supporter silently of the soldiers. So he gets some
Which
big
I
props from me.
absolutely, I know it's so humbling when you see a dude like Gene Simmons with everything that he's done with his life just lose his shit talking about the United States of America.
Yeah.
It
He's
really,
done
it's
a lot of
humbling.
over the years, like even
Yeah.
despite like consistently, not just that one video that's out now. He's actually done a lot, and he doesn't talk.
For
That's the one thing he doesn't talk
decades.
about. Yeah, and he doesn't talk about that. So he doesn't.
Not at all.
That's not a humble brag. He could flex that. Yeah, but he doesn't. Yeah,
No,
he does a
he's
lot of other things.
I've got a lot of respect for him, and I'm sure there's stuff that maybe he didn't wish he'd done in the past or whatever. But as far as keeping it together, you know what I mean? Him and Paul Stanley, they'd made some garbage albums. There were some garbage songs. Maybe there was a couple good songs and everything. But they achieved exactly what they set out to do, and that can never be taken away from them. About getting back together now, though, it's like, come on, fuck you, really?
No, yeah.
You
Well, they're not
know
going to sound the same. That's the big problem.
the what?
Like I'm okay. They're not going to sound good. I mean, they were having it
They're
was a
not
good time to
gonna.
go. You know what I
I
mean?
mean,
Like
well,
like
Gene
Slayer getting back
Simmons,
together, they're going to sound good. Gary's
yeah.
great. Tom's going to sound great. So Slayer plays back again. They play some shows. They sound good still. I'm okay with you get back together if you can deliver the goods.
Yeah, well, and I
Sonically,
mean,
they were losing it. If Kiss
well, I
though.
mean, Gene can still play, and he still sings, and and all of that stuff. And I got, Paul's voice. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's good. I don't think he should be singing unless he's
I
got like
know.
some secret thing that I don't know.
I think his voice is going, and the fact that he's been able to keep in key with
Eh,
one ear his whole life, his
Yeah,
hearing issue is unbelievable. The range he's kept for so long. I
yeah,
think it's good to kind of bow out now.
yeah. I would say too. You know what I mean? Like it's or start singing down here and doing murder ballads.
No, I think they put the money behind Tiny Kiss, the Little People Kiss band. That's what they do. But that's just me.
Hey,
We should do it. We'll invest in it. We'll start a company. I think it's a no-brainer.
yeah, how could it go
We'll do
wrong?
little
We'll go
versions of all the
public
bands out
tomorrow.
there. We'll do it. Think about the
Let's
space we're
do
getting
it.
out.
We're making Mini Kiss bigger than Maxi Kiss.
Jumbo shrimp. All right.
Exactly. Pass me the piano.
And
All
just so
right,
you
my
know, I'm
friend.
probably not going to edit
It's
anything out.
always good to talk to you.
All right,
And
brother.
I can't wait to what are we metal locking here? Oh, it doesn't work.
I'm just
We have
saying, good. That's okay. Oh, the thing. Yeah, it's just
okay.
saying, peace out. It's been good.
Yeah.
You know, you have a good
Okay.
night. We went longer, but it's always fun to talk and catch up. And
Likewise, my friend.
all right, brother, you take care.